Here. Okay, we are live. Everybody, Rich with Let's Go Warriors and Coach Nick, B-Ball Breakdown. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, Rich, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We are going to let some people come onto the stream right now, but I always do this because congratulations, Buddha Viking. You are the official first, even though he didn't write first. There's always a first. So there you go. I'm going to go change the thumbnail right now. Don't you love that feature?
Yeah.
I mean, hate it. Let's see. Edit. Yeah. So I think we'll start with Andre, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. But I think it's going to be fun to talk about Andre from a coach's perspective, which is your perspective. So now we got Cole getting more people on here. Any familiar faces? Elijah. What's up, Elijah? Before we start, I'm going to do this a couple times today. But Elijah is one of our contest winners. Elijah, be sure to reply to my email. And we have a whole bunch of prizes here that I'm about to mail out tomorrow all over the world. One of them is in Lithuania. So really fun stuff here. I'm going to show you my view. Sorry, Nick, we'll get started real soon. And use QuickTime. Let's see. How did I do this? New movie recording. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm going to do that later because I can't figure it out. And hopefully some more people joined us during this time. Okay, Misha Bailey, Dean is on. Dean will be on after Nick. And Anthony Tsai, I got your prize right here, brother. Your Venom shoes. I'll just show you right here. Venom shoes from Anta.
Wow, nice.
It's going out to Anthony. He won a prize one time. Okay, so let's get this going. Elijah. Okay, so we're going to talk about Andre Iguodala now. He did not announce whether he's retiring or not. At least, I don't know. He may have tweeted it just now. Who knows? Or done a podcast to announce it. But his podcast, Point Forward, usually comes out on Fridays. But I noticed just now that last week was the end of the season. And he said that he might announce his retirement or return on the podcast. The only thing is that if the season is officially over, so we'll just, it's the same thing. We'll have to wait and see. There's no change. But we got some comments in various corners of our YouTube channel. Some people think that him coming back as a Udonis Haslem type isn't good. I disagree with that. And other people obviously want him to return. The Warriors want him to return for that value, I think, as a Udonis Haslem type. What do you think, Coach? And also talk about Udonis Haslem, his role on Miami too.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to make that was my good comment. He's trying to become the Udonis Haslem of the Warriors. I don't think he's got much left in the tank anyway, so I don't know what value he'd bring really as a player, especially when they have guys at that position like Moses Moody or Kuminga who they need time, and it would be, I hate to call it a shame, but it would certainly interrupt their development in a way that I don't know if there would be a value to that. I think that the Warriors in the long run would do infinitely better with Iggy around and in that coach's role. Like, let him, maybe he can still be a player, but let him be more of that coach like that Haslam's been for the last few years. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's going to bring too much to the table on the court anymore. And that's not a slight to him. He's 38. What is he now? How old is he?
I should know that by heart, but I
And
think
he's
you're
been in the
right.
league for 18 years, whatever it is. It's crazy. It's a lot of time. It's time. I think it's time. I'm going to tell you right now what it is. But let's see here. Where is he? Is he even listed here?
We can go.
Iguodala. I don't know. Why don't I see him?
Let me
He's
go to
not even listed on the roster right now for this year. Interesting.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. Here we can just do this.
So there's
Andre.
Iguodala. He's played. This is be his 18th year, and that means he's what's he? He is going to be 39 this year. So it's time.
Age 38, birthday on January 28th. Yep. No, I think I'd agree with that, especially when you go through a whole season last year of name that injury, back spasms, knee swells up, neck. I'm probably missing a couple. People in the comments, let me know if there's any Andre injury that you recall. However, the Udonis Haslem role might be good. I think it's really good for the Warriors in terms of development. Yeah, if he plays, that does take away minutes. But if he just doesn't play like Haslem, he can be in the locker room like he did last year. Steve Kerr has said it over and over again that he valued so much Andre's locker room presence, especially in the playoffs.
For
and
sure.
so I think it would be great to have him back in a sort of non-playing Haslem role. And I don't want him to play just for his own health, because at that age you get the back spasm, right, the knee swells up, and the neck.
Well, but I hope he's not trying to influence anybody how to shoot the ball either. That's the other question. So he's got to know what his niche is, which I think he does. And I don't know. There's a lot he's going to be able to offer on the shooting side, but there's ways to see the game, the way he read the game, the way he would pass and facilitate was really important for them. And certainly defensively, I would hope that he would be out there, giving some tutelage to those young guys who really need it. Between him and like Draymond out there, they should be able to set these guys up for their whole careers. And then to make a very smooth transition from when Klay and Steph and Draymond move along, those guys can fill right in and have all those tools that those two guys taught them.
Right. Also, I would say that Andre might actually like the Haslem role, because I know that when he goes on the road and stuff, boy, they are treated as royalty. 5-star hotels, chefs, and catered of the best food at the gym and at the practice facility wherever they're practicing, let alone the arena, let alone the hotel. So they're treated very nice. It's a pretty posh way to live, but yeah, you never know.
You're flying on private jets and all, but the travel probably does kind of grind on you at some point when you're 60 games into it and you just feel like, man, I just want to stay home for a week and it's straight. But yes, it certainly is. It's a nice way to go, and I'm sure guys like that probably don't want to give it up so easily, and they don't want to kind of move to a life of retirement where there's just nothing to do. So this will probably be a nice way to kind of bridge that gap, and then we'll see. Maybe he will move into a coaching role or a front office role, maybe even more. I can't quite figure him out yet as far as what does he like for communication purposes, and is that what he's really into? But it'll be a good chance for him to last year and then this year again to just sort of get his feet wet in that setting, and maybe he'll realize, I'm a good coach. I should do this, as a formal thing.
I also see his off the court career having an influence, I would say. So I would maybe I'd go 49-51 on him returning, just because Silicon Valley, I've actually worked in this industry before. It's very alluring. It's very addictive. And when you're in a position like he is, where he's doing deals, he's getting X return on investments that are pretty impressive. That whole thing about trying to get the next unicorn, which is a company that will go IPO, be worth $1 billion, and you've got a piece of that, and it's very exciting. That's hard to pass up. So, but we'll see. I have no information, but I will say that I guess The Athletic, they interviewed Bob Myers, and I'll go ahead and pull that up for you guys. But they're basically saying they'd love to have him back, but if Andre doesn't come back, oh heck, we get to save some few $1 million on the luxury taxes and penalties.
By right, ironically, if they just bring him on as a coach, they pay him a lot less too. They could save a lot of money that way. So I wonder, but when you're running a franchise, you have you have to treat your players well, and then you want that reputation in the league. So they're going to let, I'm sure, Andre decide whatever he wants to do. But I'm sure they'd be pretty happy if he said, you know what, let me just be like a coach, a development coach. I know that they lost Mike Brown, brought with him
Barbosa.
Yeah, her Barbosa. And so there might be an opening there, for him to slide into that spot too.
But if I know Andre's going to try and make it. If he's going to do all those things anyway, he's going to try and get that player contract. And I think they're ready to pay him. So as far as an official coaching role, a title, I think that may be down the road. But then I think the venture capital off the court stuff kind of delays that. I think that's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, interesting.
But what else is going on? I guess we should talk about hot topics. Dennis Schroder to the Lakers. You're nearby. You live in LA. Let's talk about that real quick.
Strange. It's strange. I mean, Schroder must be really upset just because he could have signed an extension with the Lakers 2 seasons ago for $80 million, and now he's back with them for like $2 million in 1 year. It's safe to say that in hindsight, his agent was terrible and should have gotten a kick in the butt for that advice, I suppose, or whoever made that decision. As it is, the Lakers, I'm sure, are ecstatic. They get a guy who was pretty solid, and he looked good in Eurobasket. But they have now Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, now Schroder. I don't know how that's going to work at all, locker room wise or on the court. I guess that I was off grid last week. And apparently Russ and Pat Bev were kind of hugging it out and showing that they could work together. But I don't know. I still feel what's that?
You're not buying that.
I don't know if I buy it. And then I don't know if it's just like Russ being like, please, I don't want to get traded. I just want to stay here. But that said, I don't know if they can move Russ. I don't know if his contract is going to permit that anyway. So they're going to try and make it work. And I would suspect that, one of those two guys would probably get the crunch time minutes ultimately down the stretch of these games based on their play over Russ. And so that's going to be an interesting way of figuring out how is that going to be okay with him.
Yeah. I look at the Lakers roster. I see not as many wings as you would like.
Nope.
And a glut at point guard, obviously. So right now, none of that makes sense, but we'll see. And Warriors fans would love to see, a car wreck happen.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't make much sense in 2020 when they won in the bubble either, when their third best player was probably Alex Caruso or KCP. I never thought you could win a title with the third best player being one of those guys, but Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and playing in the bubble with no pressure or a lot less pressure was a good recipe for them. And, they made some very curious decisions to sort of shape their team after that, which have yielded some pretty bad results. But also the fact that, they can't stay healthy is the big elephant in the room. I prefer to think that, going into the season, everyone's going to be healthy. Let's just look at what they have on the court. But you can't really ignore, Anthony Davis's history as an injured player who constantly is falling on the ground, and that leads to these things. And then, LeBron is not healthy anymore. I think we probably, his best days have gone by, even though he would have led the league in scoring last year had he played the minimum amount of games, but he just couldn't stay on the court. And I don't anticipate that changing much, short of just really cutting back. Funny, my buddy Brian and I had lunch, and he studies all this stuff, and he was saying that he thinks the solution is going to be that they're going to give Russ, 15 games to himself, where both LeBron and AD will be resting, and then they'll probably get, I don't know, 30 some
Wow.
games with them all three playing. But that kind of ruins chemistry. It also assumes that Russ is that same player that we used to know. If you base it on last year, it was sad. I really actually felt bad for him. The fans were getting on him. He was not drinking in their tears and letting that fuel his play. He was feeling it. He didn't want his family to come to games anymore. Mentally, it was a serious problem that he had, and I don't know if he recovered from that. We've seen players not do that, not recover, and I just hope he can figure it out a little bit. But again, I'm starting to feel like Patrick Beverley and Schroder would just put way too much pressure on the coaching staff to choose one of them to like finish games. And then if that's the case, then how does Russ fit into the rotation anyway? It's going to be interesting. And again, with no wings, it's going to be a problem because that's really the defensive, fulcrum is when you got to have those guys that are 6'9" and long that can defend. And I'm trying to think of their roster right now if they have any of those guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, I better steer this back to Warriors before I get too much hate in the comments. But what do you think about the Warriors roster? We got a lot of young guys now. What's your take on that?
I mean, JaMychal Green, not so young. So they added him, which is about the amount they did for. Oh, and Dante DiVincenzo, I think is another really good addition. I think he'll fit in really, really well. So I anticipate him in their offense, cutting off the ball, getting spot up shots up from Steph, and all the gravity Klay gets. I anticipate them. It's funny, they didn't always. While they're the Splash Brothers, and they have the 3-point shot is obviously such a huge part of their game, and they ultimately weren't always taking the most in terms of frequency of threes. And so it's kind of interesting because this year they kind of are stacked to some degree where they do have quite a number of 3-point shooters they can continue to rotate through. So, Moses Moody, I expect to make a jump. Hopefully he'll get a lot more minutes. I mean, I think Kerr could probably get away with playing Steph like under 30 minutes a game. Honestly, it really feels that way right now because they can get guys like Moody in there to cover for him, and even like DiVincenzo. You know what I mean? I would suspect they're going to have a lot of games where they'll be up and they can afford to have him on the bench and resting. So I think that'll be key for them, and that's part of the whole youth movement. Who am I forgetting besides Kuminga and Moody? Certainly, I cannot wait for James Wiseman to get on the court. I think he's a future All-Star as well. So, as far as we know, Wiseman is game on, right?
Yes, as far as we know, yeah. But you never know until you actually see it on the court.
Right. So if I show up for training camp, and I better see him on that floor with them practicing hard. Yeah. But they have an embarrassment of riches because you have Looney, who's shown himself to be just a dependable center who can play some defense on switches, and every once in a while he'll throw the ball in underneath the basket. He struggles, and so does Draymond. But they have it all covered. Every facet of the game is covered on their team, offense and defense. So you have to imagine that these guys are going to be, the favorites to win it again.
Okay, so I got to knock on wood on the embarrassment of riches because the last time I heard that, we had just signed Boogie, and then 2019, and we know, it was injuries and stuff, but still. Yeah. So I got to knock on wood on that. But I would be remiss before letting you go. Everyone wants to know. Everyone's got an opinion on Jonathan Kuminga, so let's hear yours.
Actually, I did a deep dive on his shooting this summer.
Oh, good.
Really was looking at the mechanics and what he could fix. And
wait, when was that?
That was like July, August, something like that.
Okay, July. I'm going to check that out. Everybody else should check that out as well. But I noticed recently there was some video. I think the Warriors put out a video. It might be on their Instagram or wherever. It might have just been. I'm pretty sure it's on their Instagram Reels. And it looked to me that his shot release has been adjusted. Like his left hand is pronounced in terms of letting the ball go, so that he's releasing it with one hand, his right hand only, and there's no touch from the left hand. That's what I noticed.
I mean, listen, Steph is a thumber, so his left thumb imparts a lot of influence on the ball. A lot of guys who are good shooters do that. But yeah, there was something funky going on with his left hand placement and what it would do on the release, and I saw that. I think one of my bigger things was that he would kind of tilt his head down, almost like he's trying to peek from underneath where the set point was, which is kind of silly because I just saw somebody on who was talking about with Russ or somebody shot on Twitter. And the funny thing is like, you could find any shooter you have. There's a moment when the ball is in front of your face and you can't see the rim, right, as it's going through. And it's that quick. So it's not a thing where you worry, oh, you can't see the rim. You know where the rim is. It's not moving. And so but for me, what it looked like Kuminga was doing was sort of like trying to peer underneath it to see the rim. It was very strange. And I think that would also affect the balance and affect the release. So I think if he could adjust that and make that a little bit smoother, and then a little bit on the margins with the rhythm, we talk always about rhythm. When are the arms swinging up in conjunction with when are the knees straightening? And when you can unlock that, and there's actually, for me, like I know everyone has a different jump shot. The rhythm thing is pretty much the one thing I can almost say across all the board for everybody. It's the same, and it's the same kind of synchronization that you're looking for. So I feel like if he can adjust a couple of those things, and a lot of times that synchronization just comes over thousands and thousands of shots. It's too bad it might take that long because a really good coach with really good attention to detail could tune that up in like a session or two. Hopefully that happens, and we've seen that happen around the Warriors anyway. So if that happens, he should be able to become, they only need him to be a 34% 3-point shooter, right? 34, right. 35 maybe, right. And then that's enough. What did he shoot last year? Let's see here. Your memory.
I do not know those things.
I will tell you right now. Kuminga shot. He didn't really take a ton. Oh wait. B-ball rep jumps so many times loading these damn ads. Where did we go?
There it is. 35.2%.
Oh, you already was 35.2.
Yeah.
Well, son of a gun. Wait, I have 33.6.
Oh, really? Huh. Oh, projection. Whoops.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
But that's not that far, and that was on 2 a game in only 17 minutes. So he was getting him up, in a small sample size. I would expect him on a natural progression anyway to improve a little bit on the margins. And if they could address a couple of those things, there's no reason why he wouldn't get to 35%. And, we've seen him drive. And if they have to close out a little bit harder on him because they're afraid of that jump shot, then, the world is his oyster. And Moses Moody, it has more skill. Like he's probably the guy that I would be a little bit more concerned with off the dribble and doing stuff in the half court. And he's the guy that shot 36% on 2 attempts per game. And wow, he only played under 12 minutes a game, and he was getting up 2 3-pointers a game. That's a lot. So Moody's per 36 would go to 6.5 threes a game. So he was taking a good robust amount. And so you have to imagine that Moody's going to get 25 minutes a game minimum, I would hope. And I would hope that, Kuminga gets 27 minutes a game, or let's see, what did he get last year? Kuminga got, 17. So those guys should at least get 10 more minutes a game. Wiseman gets in there. Looney gets more rest. I'm telling you, the development process, if it's done right, will not only rest their stars, but also set them up for years and years in the future. Light years, maybe.
Oh, boy. Knock on wood there, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. So
I'm trying to be like unbiased and just sort of practical here. And it's like, I can't believe any other GM would look at this and say, oh, it's a mess. How are they going to win? Like, you know what I mean? They have to be the envy of everybody right now. Now, Moses Moody might completely fan out and whatever. We haven't even mentioned Jordan Poole, right?
Right.
Jordan Poole, I imagine, has improved. Look how much he improved from 1 year to the next. And the what happens. You saw Last Dragon, right?
Which one?
The Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy, circa 1987.
Last Dragon. Last
Dragon, the movie.
Yes.
So he gets the glow, right? It's like when you believe, and then they get the glow, and then he's like Bruce Lee. That's what Jordan Poole most likely will be. When you have that, it's almost like Luke Skywalker in Chapter 6. Return of the Jedi. He comes back and he's all of a sudden like Neo in the Matrix. He's the one. So all those guys, listen, Steph and Draymond and Klay have already gone through that process and they know where they are. But when you see a guy like Poole, perform well, make shots in the finals, get that ring on your opening night, it's usually something kind of changes in demeanor and like there's a different, a better player out of that. So I don't know. It's hard to imagine, and they could afford to have an injury or two. You know what I mean? It's almost like, great, let this other guy get some more.
On that wood again. Yeah. Wow. How much more time do you have?
Well, I'm supposed to go to dinner like in an hour or so. I got to get cleaned up, but I probably have another 6-7 minutes. We can go to 6:30. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good because what that brought to mind when you were talking about GMs looking at the Warriors roster, well, from a salary cap plus luxury tax and penalties perspective, I also look at, quite honestly, hope this doesn't piss anybody off in the chat, but the Memphis Grizzlies salary cap is very highly desirable at the moment. So who do you think is going to be also in the West? So you've got the Warriors penciled in at number one right now. Who else you got in there that's going to challenge us?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because the East is now a lot tougher, really a lot tougher than it has been in the past, and I've been focusing on that. But you have to believe that the Clippers will be there because I think that they're going to be healthy.
They're super deep.
What's that?
They're super deep.
Yeah, and speaking of wings, like they just have wings up the wazoo.
Yeah.
You know, the Jazz obviously are the one team that's going to drop out of there intentionally. So you have a spot for someone else to jump in there. But like the usual suspects, like the Suns should reload. I mean, you know, I'll never know. Maybe we'll never know exactly what happened. Probably off the court that affected them, having been up 2-0 against the Mavericks and then just falling apart and losing that series. But you have to imagine, they won 64 games. They were 8 games up on anybody else in the West last year. I mean, you have to imagine they're going to just reload and be just as tough without much of an addition, right? The Suns do anything? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Just, retained 8. So,
yeah. And Memphis, again, Memphis is one of those teams that's going to take, what they got from the playoffs and that crucial experience and build upon that. If they can stay healthy, Ja is crazy. He just throws his body everywhere. And if he can calm that down a little bit, then he'll stay on the court longer. Although I feel like he probably played a decent amount of games last year, but it's always a worry with him just because he plays so hard that it almost becomes a detriment sometimes. But Ja Morant played. Oh my goodness gracious!
And he did. I should mention, because Warriors fans are going to bring this up probably, that he said that if he wasn't injured, they would have won the series. I'm not into the he said she said stuff because it's not really basketball, but I'm just mentioning that because that was in the news today. So
they took him 6 games. They didn't have home court advantage. I mean, listen, they would have been better. Like it probably goes 7, with a healthy Ja. Right. If memory serves, Ja didn't play. He played in a couple of those games, or he didn't play any of those games.
I think it was
wow.
Game 2. He probably got injured. I think it was pretty early on.
Here it is. So he played the first 3 games full.
Okay, first 3 games. Yeah,
and they won one of them. And then they and then the next 3 they won one of them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think them, but yeah, they persist problems.
I just had to mention that because I'm sure, I had to do my job as a journalist to cover all the bases. But anyway, so Clippers, Grizzlies, Suns, Nuggets are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget the Mavericks. People were thinking that maybe Luka is going to show up in MVP shape to start the season, which he almost never does. But he looked beat up. They lost to Poland. I'm dropping a breakdown tomorrow morning on how Poland might have been the biggest upset of Eurobasket ever. And Luka looked pretty bad. His back was bothering him. So that's got to be a concern because, the season starts very soon, and if he's got back problems already, and he played a load in this tournament, then I'm a little bit worried about that. The Mavericks have done a couple of things in the margins to make them better. And if they could stay healthy, they'll also be in the mix. Minnesota is interesting, right? No one's talking about them too much after the trade, but they've got a future MVP in Anthony Edwards, and they have the 2 big guys. So I'm as curious as everybody to see how they're going to make that work.
Yeah, and Edwards, possible future MVP. Wow, heard it here, Coach Nick.
Yeah, if he can just stay off of, if Edwards can just stay off of social media and throwing homophobic slurs around, then he'll be okay. I wonder if he's gonna get punished for that. I don't know if I heard anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know there were a slew of apologies came out. So
yeah, it's just listen. You mentioned that you might work with some younger people about social media, and it should be a lot easier to impress upon people not to do that. You could, I guess you could think that. You can think whatever you want to think. This is America.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean you post it. And I think maybe that's the disconnect here with the younger players. And I mean, Lord knows I posted things I don't mean, but it was never anything like that. And I feel like there's a knee-jerk reaction to sort of say it. It's out. It's in my head. I got to get it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
It's that these apps are enabling people to really broadcast their thoughts, which, you just thumb type it, boom, it's there. It's almost instantaneous. And, I tried to explain this today on social media. Not every thought that comes up in your head, should you verbalize or let out there, because there are just tons and tons of thoughts. Some of them negative, some of them positive. If you're having a bad day, mostly negative, and not every thought is necessarily true either. Like you might be thinking, sometimes I think, I'm happy to admit this, you're thinking about some issue with the relationship or some issue with work, whatever, and you're like, the thought comes up is, I'm not worthy. That comes up a lot. Well, that's not necessarily true. So your mind is just, if I may digress a little bit, give you some stuff about consciousness and the brain and stuff. Your brain is out there to protect you as well. So sometimes if it's going to give you a thought like that, it's actually meant to protect you, that, okay, stay away from that person or whatever, So it's complicated. And you don't need to just, every thought that comes to your head doesn't need to be published. So that's something we're going to work on for sure in the class.
Absolutely. And it's like it's too bad that the subject matter, because it could have been a nice post saying like, this is a nice display of affection, and it's like always great to see people having fun or whatever. So if you can get in that right mindset where you want to enjoy life and enjoy things, and instead of like calling people out or whatever, it's easy to get involved in that on the politics side too. Then that reaction is a little easier to deal with. But it sounds like Anthony Edwards is a good kid. He got in the hot water before he got drafted, saying that maybe he wasn't like completely into basketball or whatever. But like, I think it's pretty clear that whatever he's into and however level he's into a basketball, it's enough because the guy is overwhelmingly talented. And he's talented in movies. We saw in the Adam Sandler movie where he played a kind of a major role in it. It was good. So
I have not seen that. Thanks for the recommendation.
It's funny. I watched the first like 30 minutes and I never got back to watching the rest of it. And I don't know exactly why that is. But if you're a basketball fan, it's kind of like you got to watch it anyway, because there's some fun cameos. And it was entertaining. So I don't know why, life has happened, and I'll get back to it eventually or soon, and watch the rest of it. I'm actually watching the Tim Donaghy documentary right now that came out, having already heard the podcast, which is very good as well about it. And that's actually pretty compelling. And as he sort of blows the whistle on the fact that, the refs don't call it the same for stars as they do for the other players, in case you didn't know.
Yeah. But it seems like they're getting away from that now, and they're trying to make everything more robotic. But that's a whole other video we could do. We could sit here all day and talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they're going to emphasize this year. I haven't heard anything about that, because there's always something in the rules they want to, traveling wise, or a move they want to get rid of. I do believe they were going to finally get rid of the take foul. Although that's going to be for this season, right? It's going to be a technical foul. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. Who's that'll benefit the most is the Warriors.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you'll see teams. Yeah, they're so afraid. And it's funny, I was doing a little KD research on a video that never happened, but having never used more than like 15% of his possessions on transition in OKC, he comes to the Warriors and is never below 20%, and is usually the number one category is transition. And I mean, just imagine that team as it was anyway. If they had slowed it up and just played half court, they would have destroyed you. But they were just killing it in the full court. And getting shots up so quickly that, yes, teams were just desperate to take the foul. And it hasn't changed much since KD left. And we know, Klay and Steph are going to get down the court as quickly as they can for those open shots. And so that'll really benefit them probably more than anybody else.
Say that stat one more time. That was a
So
beautiful
KD, the frequency of transition possessions, individually for him in the OKC was never more than I think 15% of his total possessions was in transition. They just didn't run like that. Although they did run, but he never got as many opportunities, I suppose, in OKC because Russ was probably running the break and shooting too. But when he got to the Warriors, I think one year was 25% of his possessions he was using in transition, and it never went below 20. So that just tells you how fast they were playing and how good they were. They could play that speed. So again, the Warriors, that's always been a focus of theirs. And as long as that engine is going and they're driving it like that, the teams are going to want to do those take fouls. And I bet you we'll see in the first couple of weeks this guy's doing it instinctually anyway by accident, and then they'll figure it out. But it'll just allow for more shots in transition for the Warriors, and I think it's going to help them.
And that's one thing I've always had to remind people on our live streams and stuff is that the Warriors' whole brand is defense and fast break. Defense, let's go, fast break. And the fact that we have two guys that can hit a three, at any moment in time on the fast break, there you go. That's Steve Kerr's whole formula.
I was going to do a video, by the way, on the Warriors. Really, it's not really the 3-point shot. It's like the mid range is really like their real hidden weapon. And I kind of started pulling out numbers, and it really didn't bear out. Obviously, the 3-point shot is really their thing. But what I'm thinking is maybe the video is it's not even their offense is really what was the key for them all these years. It's been their defense, which has always been top 5 rated. Maybe that's the video is like this is a real reason why the Warriors win all their games, and that's true because there are a number of teams in their firepower range on any given year, but they don't match the defense that they can play, and it's not overly physical either. It's just positional. It's Draymond. It's just they take away the things that you want to do better than anybody else, and as a result, and then that's across the board. Their rotations, I think, might be the focus I got to do. So that might be the video. Hey, thank you for helping me get to there because I
can't wait to watch it. Yeah,
it's on right now.
Steve will be the first one to tell you that defense feeds offense. They're interrelated. Okay, but I'm just saying, put a gun to your head. Which one's more important? It's like it's technically defense. And then let's get the ball out in transition.
I mean, kind of. I will say this. The stat that I've been looking at for several years now is it's something like if you get outscored from the 3-point line by 7 or more, you lose like 85, 88% of the time. So imagine that. The one team hits 23s and you hit 13. Okay? 21-point difference from behind the line is almost insurmountable. Now, you can argue that, well, if you play better defense, you might be able to, stop them. But a lot of times teams get hot and there's a lot you can do except for match them, right? Or get closer than the 7 that you need on your own offensive end to try and stay close. That's the only answer you have. So there is this notion in the modern game where if you're, you cannot, I don't think you're going to be able to win a title, certainly, without a team that can stay close at the very least. Even if you're an elite defensive team, you're still going to need to be able to hit threes to the tune of 6 or less, and so you have a puncher's chance in those games, and hope they don't keep doing that throughout a whole series. If that happened, you get swept. If you're going to get outscored by 7 or more, I don't think you're going to win any playoff games. And again, the only solution in my mind is you have to make enough to stay even closer to those teams, and then your defense has a chance.
I love your way of looking at the game. Our angle is different because we're so focused on the team, and it's great to get your perspective from from the top of the arena and watching pieces go together and things like that. It's fascinating. I mean, although you will zoom in on a Jonathan Kuminga shot release as well, but it's cool to get you on here to kind of see those different perspectives.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, listen, it's funny because as I was I ran a high school program for a while, and I also do a lot of individual instruction and study jump shots and jump shooting. So I kind of have a best of both worlds where some guys only are skill development and some guys are only like bench coaches, and they don't always know how to put those things together. So it does feel good. It's like Phil Jackson. It passes down to Steve Kerr. It's like and defensively, a lot of times he'll say, okay, just give us 10 possessions in the game, really hard defense where you're going to take away this one pass, this one place. We're going to call it out. We know their calls, and just give us those 10 possessions. The team will score like twice out of those 10, and they'll win by 8 points. Like, it really is that. And the other ones, be professional, play your position, But I think Phil gets it and Steve gets it as far as what this grind is from an 82-game season plus the playoffs and what you should expect. It's the coaches that try and like coach defense to shut the other team out. That it's so much energy. It's emotionally draining for everybody. And then it probably gets to become a slog on the offensive end too. If you're going to just freak out when the team scores, because I hate to tell you, that team's going to do it another 33 times in that game. It probably doesn't help you to lose your crap over that one possession. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Have your goals, have your fundamentals, have your foundation, drill it every day in practice. It's the other thing that the Warriors do that a lot of coaches or a lot of other teams don't is, they might have a really quick 45-minute practice, an hour practice. You bet they're going to have 20 minutes of that still is going to be their rotations on defense and their drills. Every game, every practice, they're going to make sure they do that no matter what. And then you can see it in the games.
And probably boxing out too.
Steve,
when they need it, for sure. If we get out rebounded a lot in a game and we get blown out, for sure the next practice they'll be doing the box out.
I honestly, with this team, I'd just be more concerned with turnovers.
Yeah,
right. This past year, obviously they struggled since they gotten great, because that's what it is. They are great because they play free. But I tell you, this past year it was more contagious. It looked like, right? Like they would just get into a stretch where everyone starts throwing in the way in more concentrated moments. I don't know if the numbers bear that out, but it felt that way, So it would be nice if I'm sure Coach Kerr would have a few more hairs on his head if they could just figure out a little bit better how to make those games when they turn it over 20 times, and then they have to score 7 more threes to overcome that, and maybe only turn the ball over like 14 times or 15, and then they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, well, the number has been 12. I remember you get 12 turnovers. That's pretty damn good. That's a good night.
At their pace, absolutely. And Draymond, you used to see Draymond get in his head too. Like sometimes players get cold from behind the arc. Mm-hmm. He would just go cold and just start throwing it all over the place. You're like, just calm down, man. You don't have to throw every pass like a Magic Johnson pass. But that's Draymond. I don't think Draymond is interesting. I bet you every coach would want to have him on his team. But I also feel like he's probably kind of hard to coach. Yeah,
I'm sure. I hope so. That way, he'll be less valuable in another uniform. Want him to stay a Warrior. But hey.
Anyway, Rich, I can't thank you enough. I went over a little bit, but anytime I can with you is a good
Thank you for going over. It's awesome. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you got it. Anytime, and I'll see you soon.
I'll hit you up soon. Appreciate you. Travel safe.
See you, everybody.
Take care. All right, Nick. Appreciate you, Nick. Coach Nick. We got to get Dean on here pretty soon, but let's see. He's from Michigan State. Okay. Let's catch up on the comments. First of all, I want to do a little copy and paste. I hope it's not too late, because we want to pick a winner today too. Cool. I got all of them. Got a lot of people back here from last time. Oops. All right. So if you check this out on the share screen, I have copy and pasted. Oh, there's Dean. I have copy and pasted the comments, and we're going to pick a winner. Why don't we pick somebody right now? Dean Chambers.
What's up, Rich?
Hey. What's up?
How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, wow. Time to go through all the comments and see what we missed. You wanna start at the top while I pick a winner. Why don't we just go ahead and pick a winner now?
What do you want me to do?
Go back through the comments and let's talk about anything that somebody commented on that we didn't get a chance to talk about yet.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So meanwhile, I'm going to take these comments right here. So you go ahead and say, whatever, Buddha Viking said, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
go ahead and do that.
So Buddha Viking was saying best options to worse in their opinion that Iguodala retires and becomes a coach is the best option, I think. And or he stays on the team. He's number 2. Number 3, he leaves the team and goes on to be a TV personality. And 4, he's completely done with basketball. I understand that perspective. I don't think Iguodala will be out of basketball either way. Retire. He did mention going elsewhere, which I don't think is gonna. I don't see why he would go anywhere else. But he's gonna have the podcast. He's gonna be on. He was on TV when he was waiting for Memphis to trade him. He was on ESPN.
Oh, was he?
A couple times, yeah. I think so.
That.
Yeah,
cool.
So I don't think he'll ever be all that far from basketball, especially immediately afterwards. I can understand. I don't think he'll be a coach. I don't think he wants
me neither.
The grind of a schedule.
And Steve put it. I don't think he wants to be sitting next to me for 2 hours going over the film.
Well, I think it's more the same travel, the same early mornings, the same practices. You basically have to still be on an NBA player's schedule in a lot of ways, not the same working out or anything like that. And you know what I mean, like traveling all over with the team and all that stuff. I mean, maybe he'll do it for a year, but I wouldn't imagine that immediately after retiring as a player, he wants to jump right into being a coach. I just don't think he'll. I don't know. I don't think he'll do that. So.
Yeah. Well, I thought we had a winner, but he's not on the chat. Is Simon around? Simon. How do I reply to this guy? Diehard fan from New York. Are you still on? No, I don't see it. I'm doing @Simon. @Simon, you are the winner.
Randy Spears says Iguodala's spirit and knowledge of the game will bring him back, and he's key for the young guys.
Yeah,
it was great hearing Coach Nick on here, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, what's great though, is that on our live chats though, our live chats are so cool in that we have so many reliable Blue Wrench people. So
yeah.
I really appreciate that. So like Coach Nick is, elite, but so are you guys. So anyways, I wanted to say also that I picked Anthony Tsai twice in here. So thanks for your awesome comments today. Yeah. Obviously you're killing it, Anthony, but I ended up, we don't have repeat winners just yet. So I went with Simon. But so far I need to hear back from him. So let's put him in the giveaway winners.
Well,
email.
Just going back to Coach Nick real quick, though. It's amazing when he speaks how it kind of already sounds like an edited video, isn't it?
I know, right?
Trip on his words. He doesn't.
It's insane.
Get confused. Other than having to look up a specific stat, it felt like just an edited video when he was talking. It's great.
Absolutely insane. Yeah.
And speaking of Anthony, talking about he's saying he feels like maybe Kuminga's wrist flex on, I believe on his jumper is what he's talking about here, needs some more adjustments on the shot too. So what do you think about the actual shooting hand and the way Kuminga's releasing it?
Oh, okay. Okay, wait. So he said the left hand was what?
No, I think he's talking about the wrist flex on the shooting hand itself, on the right hand.
Yeah. That's the thing I noticed on the video. I'm going to pull up that video somehow.
Right.
But hold on. What did Anthony pick on your? Oh, S. Bobblehead. Yeah. You know what was so awesome is that apparently from his email, Anthony has his Chinese name, and it's really close to Sean if you just move a couple letters. That
Really?
was awesome. That
Okay.
he's gonna get this right here. Wait a minute,
Shaun of the Dubs.
Livingston bobblehead. I gotta fish that out of here. But check this out. I got the Draymond Green bobblehead. That one's going to I forgot who. Alana's getting the KD Santa Cruz Warriors one. And somebody, I forgot who, picked the Andre Iguodala one. That one is a good pick. So all of these are
Always go with Iguodala.
sending them. We got 2 people that wanted the golden book. We have several of these left over. Big Lou wanted he noticed that this was 4XL. I don't know if this Anta jersey for Klay is 4XL in terms of American XL. It might be Chinese people XL. I can say that because I'm of Chinese descent. But we got some small people out there, and the scale is a little different out there, so I don't know. And finally, well, not finally, but here's one of them. Dynasties is going to go out to
Is that Marcus Thompson?
yeah, they're both Marcus Thompson, Golden
yeah.
and Dynasties. I've got one more Dynasties book left and several Golden books left. I forgot what your prize was. What was your prize, Dean? You won one time.
I don't know if I've gone on there and picked one yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, I mean, this is surprise enough, honestly. Just being on here. But
oh, come on, don't be a Amy on me here.
Amy,
we need somebody to go out to Hong Kong and hand Amy whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Simon. Cool, Simon. Hey, Simon. So please email me at rich@letsgowarriors.com and include the word giveaway somewhere in there. And what you want to do is go to the description and choose a prize from the Google Drive links. Okay, cool. Wow, Valoran all day was here when we had 3K subs. Man, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
What else we Elijah? I see your stuff. I want to go back to the original. I'll talk about Niners probably at the end of this. What else? Anything else in the comments?
Oh, well, I did want to go back to Kuminga's jump shot real quick.
Yeah. So to answer your question, and we should pull that up here I'll pull that up somehow. Got to go to Instagram, I think. I thought that he was doing more of like this and then letting the left hand go more pronounced, more what's the word, overtly, like just kind of like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. Whatever. Whatever you think you can improve on your shot release, go for it.
I wonder if he was almost doing that kind of like over exaggerating it just to, because it looked like his hand was completely like totally coming off the ball, which I'm not. Most guys shoot it so quick, it's kind of one motion. So I wonder if they were asking him to, again, kind of almost exaggerate the left hand coming off.
Yeah, possibly. That'd be a great question for, I think, I can't really say. I don't know if it's Ron Adams or Chris DeMarco, maybe. I can't really say. Yeah. That would be good to find out.
Well, I'm really interested in those jump shot mechanics kind of things because I think there's so many interesting little tips and tricks, that can go into that.
So let me pull that up. See if I can pull that up here. What was this? Salary cap stuff. Hoops rumors. Okay, let's see. Instagram.com Warriors.
While you look that up, I was just going to say, I know that like a lot of mid-range shooters like Larry Bird, Jordan, maybe even Kawhi, a lot of them end up with their release like that. It's called a tough hand release, which kind of creates spin by suddenly stopping your hand. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of something else that's kind of like that, but it's not a full flick through all the way down like Steph's, which is called a soft hand release. Right? Some players are more comfortable really diagonal. Some players love to square up, like Steph, Kobe, Jordan, very diagonal shooters, whereas Klay, KD, Ray Allen, totally squared up right in the middle, right? Steph has almost no dip, which is where you bring the ball down first.
Yeah.
And then bring it up. Whereas, again, Ray Allen dipped the ball almost down to his knees and then brought it like above his head, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm really interested in all those little things. I almost wonder if different spots on the floor might help. You don't want to change your jump shot form too much, but just taking into account those little things. I know when I'm shooting around, like if I'm trying to take kind of a fadeaway elbow jumper, I like that tough hand release more. Where the further away I get, I like to try and follow completely through where my fingers are facing down at the end of a jump shot.
Interesting. Yeah, back in the day, I would try to honestly imitate, a little bit of Jordan. Not that I look like him, but just the footwork and everything to me was like the legs formed a triangle, which propelled you upward straight, and you wanted to keep it in the middle and keep your elbow kind of straight like that, and everything was in the middle and upwards, like the triangle for me. So that helped out, and I really tried to study some tape on that. And prior to that, I know just as a kid, teenager, you just look for various ones, because the one I had in high school was trash. I didn't know, you just kind of, and then at some point you got to pick a guy to emulate.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, nowadays with all the different coaches that you have and people on the team helping you out, you don't necessarily need to emulate a guy. I mean, Kuminga is 19 years old. You can have a coach just tell you to adjust this or that. But I know, especially when in teenage years, your brain is more able to observe. You can be, the Marvel taskmaster a lot better than when you're older.
Yeah.
So now's a good time. And I wouldn't mind if a coach said, "Hey, why don't you pick a guy to emulate?" Even
he's
if
still a teenager, God.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do on this.
Oh,
Kuminga.
One more question about that though. For your jump shot emulating MJ, did you kick your leg out?
Oh, so I would not on purpose, not exaggerated.
Yeah.
But it does give you that additional little power at the end, because he used to do that.
I love it when
his jump shot is beautiful.
One of Draymond's feet is a little forward, and he's kind of pointing his toe towards the basket.
Right.
Because I think that helps with. I've always thought Draymond's backpack shot was really just begging to be kind of a fadeaway. To be honest, I think if he tilted back, he would make a lot more of them. And I don't believe in every player having the same exact cookie cutter jump shot. I don't believe in that.
Yeah. Well, we could talk for days about backpack. We might as well. If anybody wants to talk about backpack, I'm still trying to find my Kuminga shot release video. I have it somewhere. It's probably on my Android phone right here. So I got to DM that to myself or something. Anything else in the comments? We can just jump
Yeah,
around.
well, James Wynn said Russell Westbrook lists his house in LA.
Oh, right. I saw that. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking it up just to
Who knows?
see a couple of the headlines here. It looks like, I mean, it's even on Silver Screen and Roll. So I think, yeah, that obviously a house listing could be anything, could be just moving somewhere else or whatever. But he's from LA and he plays on the Lakers. And if there is a Russell Westbrook trade, especially maybe to the Pacers or to the Jazz, you know, if they're getting, because it's such a big contract, they're getting, you know, they're getting 2 players back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like $47 million. That's a lot of money. You don't have to pay all the $47 million, right? You don't actually have to meet the whole salary. It's like probably 38.9 that you have to send out in contracts.
Yeah, back. You got to get within a certain percentage or something. I found it finally.
Those teams are probably also not trying to add more money than they're sending out. So, you know, who knows? There might be another piece alongside of it, alongside of Westbrook. For it looks like it's probably going to be Hield or Turner or maybe Conley and Bogdanovich. That's if the Lakers get those 2 for Russell Westbrook, that does change, you know, the expectations if they can keep LeBron and AD healthy. People are counting them out too much, you know. They're not a championship team, I think, like they were in 2020 because they lost a lot of their perimeter defense and everything like that. But actually being able to get something in return for Westbrook, you know, that they still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So I don't want to count them out so much that we forget how good those 2 can be if they're actually surrounded by some solid role players, you know. So that is an interesting development is all I'm going to say, the house listing.
Cool. Hold on. Let me update that. How do we – okay. So we went from Kuminga to talk about Westbrook.
Yeah.
All right. Now I got to jump back to Kuminga real quick because we are at the 102 mark. Video of Kuminga's new shot release. Here we go. Save that. Okay, I'm going to pull this up on the share screen. Share. Stop that screen. Share window. There it is. So this was from Warriors. Let's play it again. Could you see that? Okay, here we go. See? He releases the left hand and it goes out. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that's different.
The soft hand release too. Not much dip, a little bit more when he was catching it while running, but his left hand is again almost. So let's see.
It's exaggerated to get out of the way.
Yeah, I think he's almost overemphasizing it for this practice, just to get that muscle memory. That's what it looks like.
Sure. Well, we'll see if it's just for practice or if it's for real.
Yeah.
But
I guess that is what he does in a game too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
So let's see. What do you think would be a reason though that they would emphasize that in shooting practice?
They probably saw something in the flick of the wrist, I think. I don't know. it'd be great to check that out more, but I don't know. I don't really have a passion for that in terms of diving into that that level, that granular level. Even though back in the day, I would love that. Love to watch tape on how you do a shot release and things like that. So my responsibilities are still more
You got enough. You got enough.
global.
as it
Yeah,
is.
video aggregation,
Yeah.
make our live streams better, and commentary of the whole team.
Mhm.
But yeah, that would be a great topic for somebody to go down that rabbit hole and then return from it
Yeah,
and give us the report. I
Mhm.
think that would be really cool.
Absolutely.
All right, I want to go and thank some of these people here. What other comments are out there that we should talk about?
Well, Elijah is asking about where your feet should be pointed. That's what I'm saying. There is no
Mm.
jump shot. What I would do, Elijah, is if you're really interested in this, find where your kind of sweet spot is. Some people are just naturally better in kind of short range, long, mid range, 3-point, deep three. Find wherever that feels most comfortable, and then mess around with it. Watch players that you like and who are good from that area,
Yeah.
and just try and emulate their shot, and try different players and find a combination of what works well, and then try and emulate that, and don't let it get altered too much. No matter how much you're moving, no matter what, you got to keep the shot the same up top. If your legs are a little different, whatever. It's aiming and finishing with the ball going straight from where you released it towards the back or the front of the hoop, not left or right or anything else, right? And maybe try and get a little arc, although that's not quite as important as shooting it completely straight towards the rim, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, though, so.
Yeah, I think it. Oops, I recall Michael Jordan having his feet were more straight than, say, oh man, who else?
Larry Bird's were like a skier. He just totally twisted his knees and feet.
Yeah. But the more important thing for Jordan was, and I could only emulate this, within 15, 17 feet. Of course, Jordan had a standstill three, so that worked for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very difficult for me, even at 19 feet 9 inches, the high school 3-point length is difficult. So I don't think I would recommend that for this era. I would just go with Steph or Klay for this, copy them. But for Jordan, it was more important how your knees bent, and they should bend in the middle. Yeah, you should make sure everything's balanced so that it's in the middle. So there's that too. Where do the knees bend for you? And yeah, for the shot mechanics,
he definitely kicked his feet out,
Yeah.
kicked his toe out a lot. He almost did it on every shot, it felt like, unless it was a 3-pointer. Left wing, is that left wing from 3, by the way, Elijah? His left wing to me is the mid-range, but I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. Let's see. Loondog.
Yeah, keep going in the comments if you could. I'm just catching up and promoting some of these comments.
Oh, we were talking about Kuminga's 3-point percentage too. I'm not all that concerned about that. I don't want him worrying about how many did I make or miss. If you're open for 3, you're a slasher. So the Warriors are not expecting Kuminga to have to come in and be a shooter to help open up the floor. That's just icing on the cake. I want him to shoot over 80% from the free throw line every single season of his career. That is really, really hard to stop with a slasher with his kind of athleticism, who you're afraid to touch to put him on the foul line. 75% is fine. That's average. But if he's over 80, that
JK?
Kuminga, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Kawhi level.
Yeah. It's just super difficult because you can't really hack somebody because you shoot 80% for a season. That's like most of the time you're hitting all of them. And once in a while, one out of 5 times you miss. So we know he can get to the line. We know that's actually literally what his physique and the way he moves towards the basket is what refs get drawn to in terms of calling fouls. We don't really have anybody else like that on the team. Maybe Poole can be a consistent free throw drawer. Steph should be. He gets the contact, but whatever, So Kuminga's free throw percentage is the most important thing statistically in terms of shooting that I'm really concerned about.
That would make a nice article if I was, in charge of the Athletic or whatever. I'd want one of my writers to go. I mean, not Slater. Slater's he does his thing with the team, but I would hire, I don't know, me to. No, just kidding. I'm busy producing videos, but I would hire somebody to go ask the question on media day. Go ask Kuminga about that shot release that we saw. The Warriors released that. And then talk about, what about the free throws, by the way? Probably hate that guy for asking that question. But it's got to be done. That would be a great, great article to talk about his shooting mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Get some quotes and stuff. I wanted to take this moment right now, which is the 111 mark. Ooh, magical mark. To say I did a little project here. This right here is a booklet of 400 comments from January to not even June, like June 2nd. I didn't even get the finals to fit in here because I hit 400 pages and I said I better cut it off right here.
Oh, we'll do a finals. We should do a finals only edition too, if you can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. These aren't cheap.
Championship parties. Yeah.
I do want to, Amy, if you're still on, how you don't want any of the prizes. We should definitely send you one of these, right? Do you know how many Amy's are in here? There's a lot, but then there's also other people. Let me just pull up a page here. It's double-sided.
We'll get another winner.
Dean Chambers. Oh, look at this. Difference between actual critique and hating is that actual critique uplifts players by finding areas to improve. That is immortalized right here, Dean. I'll get you one of these.
Yeah.
Amy's like on every page.
Of course.
Oh, hey, Rich, as I said before, my prize is chatting with you all here. Is good enough for me. Honestly, I'm enjoying it. It's a wonderful feeling that I'm communicating with people all around the globe. Isn't that amazing? You're amazing. I've got some mugshots of me. There's like Exploit Beast. We haven't seen Exploit Beast on here. And there's a lot of these where we just lost the game and you can see the scoreboard on the box score and the share screen and we just lost the game. But Exploit Beast is like
probably about an hour afterwards those comments came in.
Exactly. You're good at calming my anxiety. Man, there's no better compliment than that. I feel good about that. So
imagine all those people saying the Warriors are finished. And what happened?
Yeah. So we got to get you, Amy. Email me, please. Rich at LetsGoWarriors. Give me your address. Send this out to you. This is the special one. Okay. Anything else in the comments?
To Draymond too. New media, baby.
Oh, new media. Yeah.
There you go.
So what else in the comments?
Well, Simon is saying, I'm going to try and translate this. I think he said, I wish we could have kept GP2.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is. We're going to miss GP2's defense.
Yeah, sure.
look, from the perspective of the ownership, I think we offered basically a taxpayer mid-level. We had his bird rights, so we could have offered anything really. And Dante DiVincenzo, I want to be clear, is not going to be a replacement for Gary Payton II. He's more of an offensive player, way less of a defensive player, because pretty much everybody in the NBA is less of a defensive player than Gary Payton II.
Someone just mentioned that. Oh, Draymond. It's on our channel. Everybody go check that out. Let me put the link in the description.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Draymond commented on Gary Payton's defense in a podcast that wasn't broadcast until yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So go check that out. I'll put the link right now. But go ahead. Keep going on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think DiVincenzo's contract is $9 million over 2 years. And Gary Payton II's is $27 million over 3 years. So that's 6 years worth of Dante DiVincenzo right now. So he's also Gary's also 29 or 30. He had to take that contract, and realistically, the Warriors really couldn't offer him more than what they were offering. That being said,
go ahead.
Ring on his finger.
Huh?
We put a ring on his finger.
Yeah. Also, I think Lacob, that was his line. Like, okay, I'm going to use all of the available options to me that are sort of the standard way of doing things. And as far as contract extensions that go way over that, no. So I'll do the mid-level exception with Gary, but above that, no. And maybe it was even with Otto. I'm not sure. Oh, with Otto and Gary and Juan, it was that extra year, because the formula right now, the formula of the Warriors roster is that we have these, 3 Hall of Famers, possibly a 4th one with Andre, and now we have foundational piece, Looney, Wiggins, and Poole. So those 6 guys plus Andre are all the foundation. After that, rookie scale and veteran minimums. That's it. That's what we're dealing with, because we got to pay all this to these guys. So that's the reason we couldn't keep GP2.
The rookie scale contracts are going to take up a huge amount of minutes too this year. They have to. They have to play Wiseman and Kuminga and Moody, and we'll see about the other young guys. But DiVincenzo's not a rookie, but he's still also kind of young. I think he's under 27. I think he's 25 or 6. So, I guess I also wish we could have kept him. I really love Gary Payton II. I found out today that he underwent surgery.
Oh, right. Good point.
I didn't quite have the time to look it up, so I'm not sure where.
Core surgery.
It's like kind of what Lillard went through too.
Ooh, yeah, that's ironic.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that till now.
Yeah. Oregon abs are working too hard, But I'm really happy with the kind of roster we have. We've gone through this before. You and I, Rich, but
like the previous
that 10-man roster of Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Green, Looney, Poole, DiVincenzo, Moody, Kuminga, and Wiseman. That's incredibly talented and deep, and there's a lot of youth and energy on there, which hopefully will translate to health for the young guys especially, and give the older guys a little bit of rest.
All right.
Toscano will be getting his ring opening night.
Yeah. Let's not forget that. Put that in there. Let's see.
I guess unless he's traded, maybe, but hopefully that won't happen. Otto leaving, what did he get? $10 million over
Actually,
years?
we just got I think it was, crap. Sorry, guys. I don't have that memorized. Let's open up the share screen. Look it up. I prefer to use Hoops Hype on this just because it's quicker. I got all these pages up. So he's now on the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to Toronto here and look it up. Do you guys see that? 6 million. Okay, so that's mid-level exception.
Yeah, we were never going to pay that for Otto.
We if Otto could do that just for 1 year, we probably would have kept him. But you see here,
you can't sign someone to a mid-level for 1 year though. I think it has to be minimum 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, wow, I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So, anyways, he's got the player option, which is nice. Whole lot better than veterans minimum.
Yeah.
And so, I think we want to avoid. We would prefer to use the mid-level as sort of what Bob Myers calls roster optionality during the season. And part of it paid for Ryan Rollins's salary as well.
Yeah, that's strange. I wonder why you have to pay. You have to pay second-round picks from your mid-level exception, right?
Yep, because they're not guaranteed. They're not rookie scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
But technically it'll be, most teams can do that. And they're pretty cheap, all told, $1 million or so.
The biggest thing too is like, if we had been able to keep Payton, we wouldn't have got DiVincenzo, I believe. And you slot him into that backup 2 next to Poole. Not necessarily he's playing shooting guard, but just in that Poole, Payton, Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman slot. Porter, unless he's coming back on a minimum, which is what he played for last year with us, that it's not just the money, like it's also the minutes too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we have to open up minutes for these young guys.
And if you're Otto Porter, so the Toronto deal sounds a whole lot better, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I love Otto Porter. I think he's awesome. He was just a great teammate. It seemed like.
Yeah,
he's for us throughout the season.
So solid.
Yeah, huge, great shot, rebounder. He's awesome.
Great defense, ability to play a big 4.
Small 5 too. Yeah.
Of course, the concern is the foot still. So, but
But he also went to Toronto, which is like an incredible. I love the way Toronto operates. They're a great organization at this point.
I agree.
Even though they took that ring from us.
I know, right? Anyways, I'm seeing Armani Owens 15 minutes ago was saying, well, oh, what about Kobe when we were talking about shooting? And yeah, actually, I mean, what's the comment I want to make on that is that Kobe actually changed his shot. If you remember from his rookie year, you'll remember this, 3 air balls in a row against Utah? Was it? Yeah. Yeah. That shot really was different than what it ended up being. Oh, yeah. So it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see the evolution of Kobe.
And Kobe, by the time he's wearing number 24, he knows that almost every jump shot that he's taking is going to be heavily contested too. So it's just kind of a masterclass on like stalling guys out and being able to be ready to shoot from wherever the ball is. He just had an ability to rise up to the point where it was a comfortable jump shot. But yeah, I mean, I think Kobe's shot, it's so flat and it doesn't require the same kind of jumping ability as some of the other great players. It's a little bit smaller leap off the ground. It may be the most kind of natural jump shot that I've seen to easily replicate. Like Steph's looks natural, it's not easy to shoot like that. It's actually incredibly strange to me shooting like that. If it works, but if you notice, again, Kobe, Jordan, all those guys, lots of times when we're talking about kicking a leg out, those dudes were jumping off their left foot and kicking their right leg out. How many times have you seen Steph on his right leg kicking his left leg, not this way towards the hoop, but that way, like the exact opposite direction?
I don't know. I always thought Steph's release was pretty textbook.
Right, but he's shooting off of his right leg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll watch some of those shots where, especially if there's a little contact.
So this is with movement. This is not catch and shoot.
Well, if there's a defender closing out and kind of on top of him, whether it's catch and shoot or movement, I'll notice he'll kick his left leg out that way. Like if the hoop's here, he'll kick his left leg this way and land on his right knee. Like there's a lot of pressure for a right-handed shooter on his right knee. So if you can shoot with that style, definitely do it. But it's really weird. It feels really strange trying to shoot Steph's jump shot.
All right.
Beginning.
Wow.
At least that's been my experience. Obviously, people have different bodies, different flexibility, all different kinds of physical attributes. So maybe that's just me, but that is what I felt when I've tried to emulate it as humbly as I can say that.
All right. So we haven't covered this yet. Who was Wiggins training with this offseason? I don't know. That'd be a good question for him in training camp. So we'll see if somebody asked him that. But yeah, I didn't see him much with Chris Johnson either. Not quite sure what does Miles Bridges have to do with it, but with Miles Bridges, yeah, among other. He works with Chris Johnson works with Jordan Bell as well. So we talked about GP. Haven't really talked about Wiseman too much. Don't know that there is much to talk about, but we talked about Otto, but then Wiseman, talked about JTA. Yeah, we can do a whole video on dreaming what a team with Wiseman looks like as well, because it's kind of hard to visualize because it's been so long since we saw that, but
well,
that'll be nice.
Wiseman, I am glad to hear that a lot of really serious basketball people all seem to think that he's got the personality and the work ethic and everything like that to make it. I've heard from quite a different number of from quite a few different journalists and media members and players and things like that. They all seem to be very high on Wiseman. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the team integrates him into the Warriors offense, because that is not really big men focused in terms of scoring. And James Wiseman is going to have to score the ball for him to be invested in the team. We're going to have to find a way to get him the shots he likes on offense, I think. He's not going to work if you try and play him as Bogut or Looney or somebody like that. With that being said, though, that kind of rim pressure offensively and defensively, with the kind of perimeter shooting we can put out there, and honestly with the athleticism of a Poole, Moody, Kuminga next to him, Draymond just feeding him, Steph getting open shots and people forgetting Wiseman around there. He does have a nice jump shot. I mean, this guy can be someone we really don't even see much, even from a guy like Joel Embiid, because I think Wiseman's leaner and a little quicker than him at his best, and I would like him to not bulk up. If you take weight divided by inches, weight in pounds divided by inches, Steph's at what would you say? There's different listings. So how much do you think Steph weighs?
Oh, you're talking about BMI and stuff.
I guess.
Why?
Like, how much do you think he weighs?
Steph, I think 200, right?
You think he weighs 200 pounds?
Isn't it?
He's been listed as 185, 190, something like that. But
I think he's up to 200 now.
yeah,
Let's
say that. 6'3" is 75 inches, right? So we'll take that. That's 2.67 times.
Oops.
Wiseman 7'1".
7'0", I think. 7'1" with the hair. I mean, with the shoes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow, listed at 185. Steph is on Wiki. I'm pretty sure it's 190, above 190. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, he looks. So let's just say 200, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means to me, so that's 2.67 pounds per inch for Steph. So if Wiseman's 7 feet tall, that's only about 225 pounds. You might want to add a little bit, just a little bit more weight just for the cushioning, right, of banging in the low post. But him being 260, I don't think is beneficial. I know.
There we go. Hoops addict. Put him at 190.
Just one more thing.
I thought it was more than 190. My fault.
Right. But I know Bill Simmons and a couple other podcasters have noted that Tim Duncan really slimmed down a lot to preserve his career. I actually kind of believe in that for centers and big men. Like guards, I like it kind of when they bulk up as they get older, just to keep the contact of being little, keep the physicality of being little and being able to withstand contact from other players and from being knocked on the floor. Let me mention that with Steph, like the size of his shoulders being able to be hit and land and not get hurt as much. I like it when big men slim down, even when they're young. I just think flexibility and less weight on your knees is really beneficial for a center.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't think Wiseman's ceiling is Miles Turner. I'm hoping that's a chair on top of the floor that he'll definitely get to. And not that Miles Turner's a bad player. I just think Wiseman can be really, really incredible.
Colin Tan. Dude, I completely forgot.
Santos.
GUI Santos, 132 mark. GUI Santos. News break. I have news to break, and I totally forgot. I completely forgot to ask Coach Nick about him, even though, I mean, it's basically for our Brazilian fans. But
we'll have to get Coach Nick back on.
Yeah. According to a very, very extremely reliable source, GUI Santos is not going to attend training camp with the Warriors. That is my official report. Man, these things, I actually had to go out and get this information this time. This one just didn't fall right in my lap, but it kind of did because I was not really expecting a reply on it. But that's the information that I got, and it's pretty solid, no doubt about it. So I am kind of disappointed, though, to hear that. I wonder what happened.
It could just be the Warriors felt like they have their two-way contracts, and if they're going to sign somebody else other than maybe Iguodala, they probably.
But the thing is, no, I'm not worried about that. I'm thinking, why not play G League? Because I'm just putting two and two together. He was at the airport, and I wasn't there, but he was at the airport leaving San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't have definitive answer on this, but I'm pretty sure he was still working out with the Warriors, just that he's not official for training camp, so they can't have him around, I don't think, or he's got to just go pursue his career. But I would have liked him at G League.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could still be wrong. I mean, if he's not playing in training camp but ends up on the G League team, that's still possible.
Sure.
I haven't gotten that ruled out yet, but I need to follow up and see if I can get an answer on that. But maybe it was a situation where he can probably make more in Brazil than in G League. So why not make some money right now if you're not.
You can also be maybe the man on the team too.
Yeah. So if you know that you're not going to get a spot, you're not going to get a chance to get a spot on the 15 of the Warriors, then just go home and be the man back home for a year. There's nothing wrong with that, which dovetails nicely into hold on, let me do a screenshot of that. But it dovetails nicely into Elijah saying that well, I love Nemanja Bjelica, but he wanted him back, but it is what it is. I mean, Belly's going to be the man back in Serbia, I think it is. Or he plays on the Turkish team. So he's going to be the man there. He's a world champion, man. And what gets back to the roster development, we don't really have minutes for these veterans, not named Jamichael and Dante, right? So those minutes are drying up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So anything else?
Oh, Elijah's asking what your thoughts about Europe basketball. Do you know specifically what he means by is that the World Cup, EuroLeague?
No. He's talking about why I don't utilize YouTube Shorts, which is their equivalent of TikTok, which is Instagram Reels copied, which is videos that are in portrait mode that are less than a minute long. And the reason why is because the more that I put on there, it floods the channel. Like you'll see shorts, and then regular video.
Right.
And I'd rather not do that. It'd be great to do one short every now and then, but oh man, it's extra work for such a tiny little thing. I'd rather just put the pressure on myself to produce the videos, the regular length videos.
Well, I mean, obviously, you don't want to make it seem like you're a shorts channel too, because there are channels like that on YouTube. So, I mean, all you have to do is hit right and left. It's not all that much different. If you scroll down a little bit, though, he did leave another comment talking about Europe basketball.
Oh, okay.
Elijah did. And I was just wondering
if
you know specifically what that means. Because I think he might be talking about the World Cup, maybe, but maybe not.
Hold on. Let me get there for a second. Let's see.
Pedro, you can expect Klay to be a badass. That's what you can expect.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But about the Euro basketball. Oh, Eurobasket. Yeah.
Eurobasket.
Coach Nick mentioned this earlier. Luka just lost a huge upset to Poland.
Right.
And Giannis got ejected for a flagrant foul in their game. So it all got, messed up. It would have been great if Giannis was in the final. I would have tuned in for that. But we talked about with Coach Nick, Luka hurt his back or something. So there is that risk. But, hey, we're basketball fans, so we can enjoy Giannis versus Jokic. They had that. Giannis won that round, I think. Or did he? Serbia beat Greece, or Greece beat Serbia. But anyways, I think it's entertaining and all. If I'm a purist, I wish it was totally NBA rules just because. But there's not as athletic players in Europe, so I think the rules fit well. But it forces us, the U.S., eventually. Not in Eurobasket because we're in the America Cup and stuff, and we only got the bronze there. Yeah. So, and it required a Norris Cole buzzer beater, a la Tyus Edney style, for us to even make the the semifinal, which we lost, and then we won the bronze game. So I don't know. You have to look at Eurobasket as that's where FIBA can really gain some viewers, where they've got Giannis, they've got Jokic and Luka, and it's okay for them to play in that. Whereas the US, we're not going to get any of our stars to play in these ones, right? So Europe has an advantage there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it is a little silly that some guys who've never won anything aren't playing in those. If I never won a championship or I didn't make the playoffs,
I guess it's risk of injury.
What about Giannis?
I know, but there's more national pride there.
That's ridiculous.
In the U.S.,
no
nobody
offense
cares.
to our international audience. It's great for you guys. It's ridiculous for us in America that we don't care. I mean, it's
but it is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
But
I mean, really, you didn't make the playoffs, and you're saying no to playing on Team USA?
Yeah, I know. But it's gotten to a point where they're expecting that, so they just hire some guns to be on the team, and they do a good job. They do a good job of, we were there for McClung, and that team did their job to qualify for the FIBA World Cup coming on, which is different. But the AmeriCup team,
right,
only got bronze, and it's confusing, and it's all that. But
it is confusing. It's a confusing system of international basketball.
Ugly underbelly of capitalism there, I think, is
Wow.
So yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Klay. Go ahead. 141 mark.
Elijah's making some good points. We'll get to those in a little bit.
Oh, really? Is it Eurobasket related?
Well, he's talking a little bit about that and also about the midseason tournament.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about Klay.
Yeah, so we'll thank you for that comment, and we still have Guy. Yes, Colin, we will keep his rights another year. So probably going to be a draft and stash, but we'll see once again if Guy Santos is going to be on the G League team or not. I don't know yet. Okay, where's the Klay one? We're back to Pedro's. Go ahead.
Sorry?
Go ahead. Talk about Klay.
Oh, well, I mean, as I said before, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be a badass. He's going to be the coolest person in the NBA. And on a more serious note, I think proved he could come back from these injuries and win. I mean, we won a championship as soon as he showed up, which is ridiculous, but it happened. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was a little bit less kind of pushing it this year, right? I'm not sure we're going to have as many games of 5 for 20 from the field.
Oh, right. Oh, I see what you're saying by pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
forcing up shots and whatnot. Okay. Yeah.
I think he should be a little bit more confident in terms of just how his body's going to hold up defensively, especially.
Okay, and I think the last thing is his defense will go back to all NBA level. You think?
I don't think Klay Thompson ever made an all NBA defensive team.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
We could look that up. I think it was second team all defense. They don't do third teams, do they? I don't think so. Klay all defense.
Did he not make an all NBA team then?
2018-19 all defensive team. Yeah, I don't think he's been all NBA, has he? Klay all NBA. Oh, I forgot to share the screen, didn't I? No, I did. Hey, multitasker. 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA third team.
Well, I thought he didn't make one of those two, but I guess, I mean, I'm glad he did, but I don't know. I can't believe that some of the people who vote for All NBA would not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, oh, he only averages 20 a game. Yeah, because he's on a winning team, and that helps him win.
I think I would edit what I just said to he's going to play better defense this upcoming season. Whether you want to label that as all NBA defense.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Who cares? Because we don't do comparisons. We don't do awards. We don't do rankings.
Yeah.
What's the fourth thing? Don't do four things. And I forgot what the fourth is. But it also has to do with like rankings and comparisons and things like that. Because just like Moody said, they're the thief of joy. So you can really get into a situation where you're actually ending up throwing somebody under the bus when you're talking about somebody. So
yeah.
Three. Oh, no, it wasn't three of them. Two-time All NBA third team, 1-time All Defensive second team, which was the 2018-19 season. Oh, let's see, made two All NBA third teams and 1 All Defensive second team. Okay, next question. I'm trying to stay.
If I could say one more thing about Klay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if they're going to. I do think it'd be interesting as he gets older, because the dude's the son of Michael Thompson. He's the son of a really good #1 pick center, and he's so strong. I wonder if they're almost going to play him as like a stretch 4 sometimes. You know, a little bit more forward rather than shooting guard. Not all the time, but at times. I think he can do that, especially the older he gets.
Love it. Wow.
I think that'd be
That's what I love about you, man. You come up with these things, but kind of reminds me of myself, actually. So I appreciate that.
Hey, I want to do anything you want to do, Rich.
How about Anthony's question here? Will he move better off the ball?
He's always been great at moving off the ball. I don't think there'll be any difference, personally.
Feels like he did way more standing.
I don't remember that, but
okay. Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Maybe I just didn't notice it though.
Next topic. Real quick.
Rollins was asking our thoughts on the Warriors getting so many guards, adding so many guards. Well, the more you play Moody, who's kind of a small forward, Kuminga, Wiseman, and JaMychal Green alongside Draymond and Looney. Most of those dudes were already on the team, so a lot of the players we lost were either small forwards like Juan or GP2, Damian Lee, guys like that. So I don't think it was so much that we have a lot of guards on the team as the pieces that we need to replenish were more in the guard position. But someone to replace Poole again. We've talked about this a little bit. I think we both agree that we kind of need Jordan Poole to be able to run the system when Steph's on the bench, because before Jordan Poole got good, our minutes with Steph on the bench were like we were basically the worst team in the NBA. So it's because we didn't have anybody who could dribble, pass, create their own shot, and get to the rim and shoot 90%. So I hope we keep Jordan Poole. I really
Oh
do.
yeah, no doubt. There's no reason not to. I mean,
And he's restricted, so
it just doesn't make sense not
it's
to.
all the ball's in our court. Is in the
Picked him with the 28th. You got tremendous value out of that. Why would you give it away at this point? From a purely transactional point of view, it's stupid to do
It's
that.
speaking of transactions, he's exciting to watch. Kind of puts
So we haven't even talked about
passes and seats. Yeah.
all of that. So, anyways, I wouldn't worry about that. Like, there's Jordan Poole is like the dream draft pick, and the fact that he still comes off the bench, like he could have played a ton of minutes on a, you know, let's say a different team, a different scenario, a different parallel universe, right? A different what do you call that? In the multiverse, you know, Earth 818, Jordan Poole is a starter, and we'd probably there'd be a whole other host of issues with that, but we don't need to deal with those issues because he's coming off the bench for us, and so that's been an experience that is just a dream for any general manager. And so I think, you know, even if he did start for another, I mean, the fact that he was picked at 28, that's just really the point, and that he has contributed the way he has, even improving his defense within the Celtics series, let alone offense. It's just a complete no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And I know
he's willing to do a lot of the things that Steph does, and like, hey, I'm the best ball handler out here if Steph's not on the court, but let me give it up and relocate over here. Not even to get it back. Just these two are going to follow me. So go ahead, John. Get right to the rim, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got the hard work, man. He's got the work ethic. When I hear the Warriors, Draymond, Coach Kerr, Steph, Klay, all talking about like, oh, he's got the best like work ethic on the team. That's just something I'm never trying to give up.
Yeah.
You know?
And look, really the worst case scenario, what I'm getting from this anytime we talk about Jordan Poole extension is really that, you know, Wiggins says, oh, I need to get a bag. Draymond says, oh, I need to get a bag. Klay, who's up, you know, the following summer, oh, I need to get my bag. You know, all of them say they need to get their bag. I mean, we're still paying Jordan Poole. We still are. We're still keeping him, right? It's just he's next in line for it. He's going to get it. So stop with all that. We're keeping Jordan Poole. There's no reason to believe that we're not. I just cannot, barring crazy, knock on wood, injury scenarios, it's a total no-brainer. And it's okay also to wait until, like DeAndre Ayton, restricted free agent. Okay, wait for the offer sheet. Boom, match it. We're done. And I would say, though, because the NBA and NBPA just signed a deal, 7-year deal. We're good. Pretty much the way it is, we're good. Salary cap will go up by 10, 11 million next season. I mean, I think you should pay him now. I know that, I mean, I don't get paid enough. I am not one of Bob Meyer's staff. I don't really know. But just from a casual salary cap fan point of view, aren't salaries just going to continue going up? The sooner you pay them, the cheaper it is. So you might as well pay them now. But hey, I don't know. Maybe that sets a bad precedent for the next guy. And maybe you want that optionality where, I don't know. But you better hire a mathematician to go in here and do all the projections.
Oh,
because if Jordan, like,
they have a team of
Jordan Brunson got paid a whopper, you know, what if next summer, you know, there's a whopper, and I don't know, but maybe the injury thing trumps all. Everybody's got that elephant in the room. What if he gets injured? So maybe that's just the rule of thumb in the NBA. As a GM, you wait until the last possible moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any qualms with that. And in fact, the GMs are supposed to know that better than me. So I'm not going to challenge that.
So what you said, the NBPA, which is the NBA Players Association, and the owners came to an agreement?
Yeah, let's look that up. Maybe a shortcut would be to check the NBPA Twitter. So let's see. Let me hide this real quick. Twitter.com NBPA. Oops.
Whoa.
They didn't get to the Twitter.com NBPA. Oops, NBAPA. BNB. Oh, they didn't get NBPA. Oh, too bad. Let's see here. Where's the agreement? 10 hours ago. 13 hours ago. Oh, Lord. September 15th. Okay, let's just Google it. NBA, NBPA agreement. Bleacher Report to hold. Man, I could have sworn there was something. Unless I got duped.
Was it from Ballsack Sports, Rich?
Yeah, I don't even follow them, so I don't have them on any of my things.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, here, I'm gonna.
Oh, you know what? I can check my email. NBA PR sent it out. NBA PR. Independent investigation. I do not want to talk about Robert Sarver. That will get talked about on Media Day by everybody. Everybody's going to ask everybody about Robert Sarver. So I don't want to waste time on here.
Yeah.
Man, I can't find it. I must have I don't know what happened.
Well, I looked up the CBA, and I think no matter what, it gets renegotiated into so after this season, after this one. So after next season, 2024, at the end of that, there will be a renegotiation of the CBA, I believe.
At the end of 2024.
Yeah. So for the 2025 season.
Darn it. Well, yeah, I got to retract
2025 big 24-25.
I thought they agreed to something. Reach tentative. Oh, wait a minute. 7-year, 7. Tentative. Okay, so that's right here. No, this is 2016. Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
so I think that's almost like a contract for the whole league is the CBA, and once it runs out, it always has to be renegotiated. But it doesn't always have to go to a lockout or anything, a strike.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
So just real quick, CBA running out in 2024, and Jordan Poole is a restricted free agent at the end of this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little risk. The Jazz waited for that same DeAndre Ayton thing, the thing we're talking about with Jordan Poole, where you just let them go into restricted free agency and you don't give them an extension or you don't re-sign them out front. And apparently that was kind of a factor in him leaving. I don't think that'll be a factor for Jordan Poole nearly the same way. But if the CBA gets renegotiated a year after he hits free agency, there are going to be a few players who might make $80 million, $70-something million a year under that CBA at some point. Maybe not immediately, but all the contracts that you can get before that CBA comes into effect. Because if the NBA starts really going for streaming and kind of decouples itself from cable a little bit, the contracts could be almost hard to even fathom how large they might get. Guys already get paid $50 million a year, you know?
Yeah.
There's going to be some players with contracts that look like team salaries kind of over a few years. So at least that's what I think. So the more guys you can get now, not that I don't want them to make as much money as they can, but it would be beneficial for the Warriors to lock guys in a little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colin, you didn't know anything about CBA agreements until this one runs out because the players actually have to negotiate it. That's why the bargaining in it is literally that it has to be bargained every time there's a new one that gets agreed to. And there's a lot of stuff that rolls over from one to the other, but we don't know what's going to be on there. I've heard rumors about the lessening the tax for players you draft because it helps not just a team like the Warriors. It doesn't just help small market teams, but it kind of helps player loyalty, right? Like it helps Giannis to stay on the Bucks. It helps Steph to stay on the Warriors. Whatever other example, Jokic, Doncic on their teams. So I would think that is probably going to be a part of it, yeah, because it benefits everybody, you know. But we can't know until it comes down to it.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Drew. Try and move Poole and Wiggins. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think still you just can't let go of JP. But then, yeah, what do you do about Wiggins? Yeah, I don't know. I think you have to kind of defer to, okay, what's the market value of Wiggins and see what the market does. But you can control Poole's destiny. So
yeah, and that's for years going into his prime. So is Wiggins, honestly. He's 27, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll hugely depend. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors are kind of willing to keep all these guys if they all perform at their highest level. What Wiggins are we going to get? I love Andrew Wiggins just because he's humble, quiet, seems to be unfazed. Again, very, very consistent, works hard, not necessarily in the maniac kind of way, but just like constantly putting in the work. But if we get playoff Wiggins, that dude's all NBA. I mean, not to say, you know, rankings or whatever, but really that if we get what we got from Wiggins in the playoffs this year, he's one of the top at least 20, 25 or whatever you want to say players in the NBA with that level of scoring, defense.
That's crazy. It's crazy how
we get
you got to be in the right environment.
Wiggins, that's not good in the playoffs, especially. Yeah. No offense, but that wasn't, you know, it just wasn't that consistent. So a lot of all this stuff is not going to be determined right now. We have to see how they play. We have to see how they go through this season. Yeah. And that's just going to be something we have to be patient for to see what happens, you know? Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, good question. Good answer too. I like it. Any other comments we missed? So as far as, and thank you again, Drew, man, that's so awesome of you to donate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no news yet, but CBA will come along. And I do want to add that I talked to an NBA agent recently, and it's just, I think the competitive spirit of some of the players and whatnot is just realize that we're on top right now. So everybody's going to be gunning for us and nipping at our heels for anything. So right now, especially so what I'm hearing, which is like not secondhand, not third hand, not fifth hand information or whatever, is just like, you know, no one's going to vote on behalf of the Warriors. So the homegrown, even though it makes sense and it's fair, more fair than it is now. It's like I just don't know that'll happen because the Warriors would benefit from that, and people are looking to take down the Warriors right now. And then
But
also
it's so beneficial for any team that I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like,
unless you're, what's his name, Dolan in New York. So, but yeah, you bring up a good point. The principle of it should be beneficial to any team. But then there's some teams that are stuck in situation where they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure OKC would vote for it.
Oh yeah,
They can.
The Jazz
they
are
can see
gonna
the
vote
corner,
for it,
right around the corner. But we'll see. And again, the whole, we got to pay, or the contracts coming up. Wiggins, Poole, Draymond, Klay. After that, or really Poole, Wiggins, Draymond, Klay. There is a chance that Klay's people are like, man, you should extend me now. I deserve it or whatever. There is a chance that Draymond opts out this summer, says, I'm testing the market. And Wiggins to just go with the highest bidder or whatever and just leave. So we just have to take it as it is. I think it's more of the nature of the beast than say, oh, Lacob's got to do this, that, and the other thing. But then again, I really recommend, again, this is me being a super casual fan when it comes to salary cap stuff. Why not just get a secret meeting between Steph, Klay, Draymond, Wiggins, and Poole, and just bring in the salary cap expert and say, hey, look, this is what we think is going to happen. And here's what we think your salaries will need to be in order for us to keep this team together. They got to have that secret meeting, man. At least have it and talk about that stuff and just share some intentions together. And then maybe something good will come of that. But if not, then yeah, I don't blame the people who bring up the Wiggins should be traded now because you can get more assets for him now than just let him walk.
Well,
you're absolutely right. But then again, we got to let the season play out. And
if anything like that were to happen, it wouldn't be now. I think it would be around the trade deadline or something. Sure. You never know, right?
We should wait to talk about rumor mill until that time as well. Yeah. Because you never know. What if we suck in the standings? God forbid. What if too many things can happen? So
I guess he could get traded for Jared Vanderbilt and Bojan Bogdanovic too, or Miles Turner and Buddy Hield or something. But
yeah. So we don't need to talk about that now. But yeah, sure, it's there, and it could be some specter that kind of shows up all of a sudden.
I would like us just to keep this team together, though. Let them defend their championship. There's been enough kind of.
Oh yeah, there's that too, isn't there?
Yeah,
good old
teams have the right to defend what they.
Good old-fashioned basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like we just want a pickup game at the playground. Who's next? We won. We're staying on.
You don't kick guys off your team on the playground either if you win.
Yeah. But it's the NBA. I get it.
Yeah.
Sort of the philosophies of
Vincent Flanagan says nothing beautiful lasts forever. That is true. I'm hoping it doesn't last forever because they all retire though, and not because I really can't. Look, Wiggins, Poole, I love those dudes. I really want to keep both of them. But I don't know how well I'd take it if I ever saw any of the big three in a different uniform. Really,
yeah.
It would just be so horrible,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess it happens, but I'm hoping it doesn't for the Warriors. It's been a very, very lucky group and they put in a lot of work, but luck has been involved. I hope no matter what happens, win or lose, I hope they stick together their entire careers and maybe even retire all at once. I think that would be beautiful. Well, Elijah is asking about Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs. I know Donovan Mitchell as a basketball player pretty well.
Yeah. Because you're from Salt Lake.
I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah. I didn't really grow up watching him, but follow the Jazz a lot. And I'm not sure if the Cavs are quite finals contenders, but if they're healthy, that team can eliminate a finals contender in the Eastern Conference with Donovan Mitchell. They're already there. They're at the threat of, again, even if they don't win a championship or make the finals or whatever, that team is talented enough, young enough, where they can take down a contender. Maybe even a little bit further than that. Mitchell's with the right wing defense, also having Evan Mobley and what's the dude's name? This has got a big afros on the Nets. Is it Jared Allen?
Jared Allen, yeah.
Yeah. Having those two centers, a guy like Kevin Love and Darius Garland next to him. Who's their wing defender? Is it Okoro? Isaac Okoro?
Mm-hmm.
That was a lottery pick of theirs, right? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
I think they're going to be really, really good, man. And it's always going to be fun for the rest of Steph, Klay, and Dre's career. It's always going to be somewhat fun to face the Cavs, and it's going to be especially fun for me. So, yeah.
Who's the coach again?
The coach, yeah. I think he's a young guy.
Gotta look him up.
I don't remember his name.
Okay, hold on. We'll look him up. Well, let's see. Cavs coach. Baby Bickerstaff. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I've seen him on all of the NBA coaches are good, honestly, but I've seen him on the pregame Zooms and stuff. And yeah, I mean, all of them are good. Minnesota's coach is good. 2 years ago, you could tell the Grizzlies coach was good, Taylor Jenkins, just by the Zoom calls, but they're all really polished and good at that. So I don't think you can hire a bad coach these days.
Well, you can. They're just not doing it as much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really deep lead, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's
crazy.
Anybody can beat anybody at any given time.
And they're kind of fun players on every team, at least one or two.
But I'll tell you what, that's where we got to keep our guys. Exactly what you just said, right? The caveat to that is that they don't have that championship DNA. And that's why all the guys that have championship DNA, such as Draymond, they always keep saying, look out for the Bucks. Be careful of the Bucks coming out of the East. So there is, the Cavs have to go through that. Mm-hmm. They have to have their heart broken. At least that's usually the case. And that's also why I actually do kind of fear the Memphis Grizzlies, because we tore their heart out. Granted, Ja was injured, blah, blah, blah. But, you kind of have to go through that tough loss in the playoffs. And yeah, the Cavs lost in the playoffs last season, but they haven't had that tough loss, so maybe that's going to be this season.
Did they make the playoffs?
Pretty sure they did, but wow, could be wrong. Cavs playoffs 2022. Yeah, Sixers. They lost to the Sixers.
That's preseason.
Oh, my bad. Oh, horrible. Don't ask me anything Eastern Conference, man. Looks like it was Atlanta.
Well,
Hawks
let's see.
Cavaliers predictions. Yeah, I mean, we could just go. The easiest way is to go BK ref Jared Allen, right? And then go look at his.
Yeah, the Cavaliers were the 9th seed.
Yeah. Oh, so they got bumped out in the play-in.
I
So here you just go to Jared Allen, 82. Yeah, so they got bumped out of the play-in because it stops at 82, and they don't list the freaking play-in games, which is crazy.
Oh my! It's so annoying. Even on Basketball Reference, you have to go to like the date they were played. Yeah, so they. Right, I remember now. A couple of their most important players, Ricky Rubio was on that team too. A couple of their most important players got hurt, but they were pretty high in the standings, and they just plummeted after those dudes were out. Right, they lost to Atlanta in the play-in. That's right.
Or was it the Nets? No, it was the Atlanta, right?
Yeah, the Nets made it into the 7th.
Yeah. Okay.
Seed, I think.
Cool. Pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, because
then it was the Nets and Hawks. Oh, okay.
Man, I can't believe I forgot already. It's only a few months ago. I know all this off the top of my head. Yeah, I think what Donovan Mitchell adds to that is just look, the guy is averaging like 28 points a game in his 5-year playoff career. That's like one of the highest ever. And there's a little scoring inflation or whatever going on compared to the old school. Sure. But I mean, he's just an incredible shot maker. You know, he's an incredible offensive player, and new environment, new expectations and everything. You know, you would expect him to be a better defensive player. That kind of fell off these last 2 years with the Jazz. But yeah, I think again, if the Cavs can stay healthy, they're going to be that no one's going to want to play them. No one's going to choose to play them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's you never know until you actually see them play, especially with Donovan. Going to be very interesting. But yeah, you can't build the roster. I mean, you can't fault them for the roster building there. Like that's what you do. Good job. And so
they
now
also gave up Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and another dude who got drafted this year. So the dude who got drafted this year didn't play. Colin Sexton played 11 games. They got Donovan Mitchell from Lauri Markkanen. That's who they changed out of their roster.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a trade, man. I actually don't know why Danny Ainge made that move. Not that this is Let's Go Jazz, but you know,
he's always been a burn it and build it, right?
Yeah, his thing is like, oh, we need to renovate this building, huh? Where's my dynamite? You know, that's just who he is. I guess it worked for the Celtics eventually, though, pretty much.
I know, right? He didn't get to stay around for the whole ride, I don't think, but it worked. Thank you, Elijah, for your loyalty there. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to go live with the training camp this Friday. I don't know too much about it just yet either, so we'll figure it out as we go. So check the channel community page as we go, get closer and closer to next Friday. But that'll be a big day. Pretty crazy day. There'll be so many interviews, and it's just so much content, so much to talk about. Hope you're around, Dean, because there is just a ton of stuff to unpack that day.
Let me check my schedule here. It's far enough in the future where I might be able to get it off too, even if I'm not.
Oh wow, cool! Did you get the new job?
I went back to an old job that I already had. A little bit different position though. Might work out a little bit better. So, yeah. Well, I get off that day at 11.
Good.
Already.
It's gonna work.
So that might work, and I might be able to get the shift covered.
All right, Anthony. Thanks for. It hasn't hit me either. Maybe we have to wait until ring night, opening night.
No,
Jeez.
I think it's because what happened last season is one of the most impossible championships ever won.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way we won a championship last year. Not with Steph, Klay, and Dre playing less than one quarter of a game, less than 12 minutes together the whole season. Not with Steph screaming, lying on the ground, with Marcus Smart having dove into his ankles and coming off the bench. Not with the last loss of the game, Steph again screaming on the ground because the Celtic was falling on his legs. Not down 2-1, not having lost game 1. There's not being down 3-1 to every Western Conference team that we played in the regular season. Those 3 teams, we won 3 games and lost 9. Like, look, there's no way, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Championship DNA and a
missed the playoffs by losing play-in and won a championship the next season.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining.
So we're so fortunate. That's where the gratitude comes in. People never forget. Gratitude really just makes everything feel so much better. The appreciation for that, and then it's just a couple steps away from appreciation of life itself. Let me tell you, that stuff really does work. I've changed my whole outlook on stuff. I guess I should just tell you, I mean, I've started doing meditation. It is the best thing ever. I wish I'd learned this stuff a long time ago. And it's helped me recently, as you know, within 24 hours. You know, in my world of NBA and media and all that, it's pretty much, you can get into corporate America type crap lots of times. And corporate America equals dog eat dog world type stuff. And you get into situations where, like I said earlier, I think when Coach Nick was on, where you feel like you're not good enough. And it's not so much, you know, now I'm at a point where it's not because of you. It's not an external factor. It's just how you interpret it and your inner calm about it. Because the person that puts you in a position where you felt you were unworthy, well, maybe you felt that because of some other things before, but he or she, they're probably going through some stuff too. So you can't really, you know, rip them apart about it either. So it all comes back to you. And a huge part of that is the gratitude part. Just to like kind of give it away in the meditation part. It's really about the gratitude part. And so that keeps you grounded, and it keeps you really feeling good about stuff, and that you can overcome some of these things. So I'm going to be dealing with this sort of adversarial situation coming up. But I'm ready to deal with it right now. And believe me, right before that phone call has to happen on Tuesday, I'm probably going to try and do a meditation just because. So Klay recently posted, and I have this thing from Klay that I should try and pull up while we're still on the topic. But let me buy some time here to send myself this little awesome thing that I found that's Klay related. Klay does do meditations. You guys knew that though, right? And I found this little thing that is Klay meditation related. And of course, I can't really find it immediately, of course, because I'm under the gun right now, of course. Where did I
calm, Rich?
anyways, it has all these notes about his meditation. And those notes are like, oh yeah, I agree with that, and I agree with that, and I agree with that one too. So it was kind of cool to see that we were, sort of on the same page with that. And I'm kicking myself because I can't find it right now in my Android phone. I'm a little worried what I did with that. I'll have to look it up.
I'm sure you.
That would be a great thing to ask Klay about. Just tell me about meditations. One of these days.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
And he's out in nature so much too. That's
that is such a key component. Yes.
Even if you find it hard to meditate, if you just go out into a park or the woods or the fields or wherever you live, just get out in nature a little bit, and it really is very healing and just refreshing to be in.
So here's what happens. If I may have said this when Coach Nick was on, but when you get in that situation where it's a high stress thing, like suddenly you're in an adversarial situation, and all these thoughts are interrelated. I'm not good enough. I feel unworthy, or I want to tear his head off. How dare you say that? But they're all high stress, and it puts you in a fight or flight mode. So all of that, so that becomes that's kind of your limbic system in your brain. So now you're in fight or flight mode. It's the equivalent of you seeing the saber-toothed tiger, and you're like, uh-oh, I better figure out how to get out of this jam.
Yeah.
The only difference is that in our modern society, like in the caveman period, you eventually got eaten by the
cave, get up a tree, and it's over, right?
It's over. In our present society, the stress doesn't end. It stays within. Like our bodies are used to having that cortisol, that stress environment. With the saber-toothed tiger, that's like 15 minutes and it's over.
Yeah.
Nowadays, corporate America, all of that, man, it lasts and it lingers. And that's what I figured out was the benefits of meditation is that you can reset your limbic system to be not in that stress mode, even though it's still there. Like I got to take care of that situation, but I don't have any stress about it. It's the craziest thing. I recommend everybody go try that out someday.
Absolutely.
All right.
And that's how you get to almost 2.5 hours in to this podcast.
At least the last 15 minutes talking about the championship and gratitude and all that.
Yes, sir. Hey, lay down the law, Rich. Preach.
All right.
Yeah, that was great, right? Are you talking about the night 3? Yeah.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
I swear, man.
So many night threes.
When I watch highlights of that game, they don't. I'm not sure why they don't. Some of them don't show that Steph made 3 straight layups and then a 3. Man. What did he get? 34 points that game. So, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it was 9 points, like right in a row to put him to bed. That was. It's
crazy, but
Steph just silenced everybody this year, man. Any critique, it's all gone. It's amazing.
And the foremost thing that remains in my mind, other than the live stream got shut off because
right, yeah.
But that doesn't, that was a funny moment, like, and everything. But I just remember being on the live with you guys. I mean, that's like isn't that crazy? Like that's the most fun part for me. Even though watching them win, but I didn't necessarily need to be there. I didn't need to be in a bar cheering them on and hugging people. It was just enough for me to be with you guys to share all this positive energy. And this is addictive. That's why Dean and I are back on right now. It's very it's healing in and of itself.
Yeah.
We got,
It's
I don't know.
nourishing almost.
It makes it fun to talk about.
Absolutely.
Look at Anthony, man. You're so inspirational.
Anthony was carrying it, though. He might have been on his own, but that was enough.
Poole making the bank threes, man. Oh, man. Anthony's got all these incredible memories.
Yeah, well, what was it? Game 5? And the Warriors were down 2, and Poole made it from like almost half court to put us up 1. I think Draymond said that was like the most important shot of that game.
There's so many moments, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't even pick them out. It's just a blur. It's just here. Also, the thing that rings out for me is the overcoming of adversity.
Yeah.
Being down 2-1, especially individually, Jordan Poole himself. I basically posted, an X's and O's criticizing his defense. That was basically the whole post, and where I tried not to really kill him about it. And look at him, man.
He went from being, look, if I'm a coach, I understand that different players have different defensive abilities, but Jordan Poole was like on his heels on defense, and you need to be on your toes. And he flipped it in the middle of the NBA Finals as a 22-year-old who never played in the playoffs before. I've been watching a lot of basketball throughout my life, and I've never seen a team like this, man. It's just
I gotta
just enjoy it while it's around. That's all I can really say, because it's not normal. It's not. It's not even. You can't even expect this,
And I want to get back to the unexpected.
Yeah.
Sometimes the unknown is what makes everything more beautiful, honestly. Like, that's the unknown, and whatever the unknown is becoming known, it's if you flipped it around, right? Because now most people have fear of the unknown. Oh, are we going to sign Poole or Wiggins? It's one of them has to go, and this and that. But then the other way to look at it, which is, there's always a couple ways to look at things, is that, well, that's the unknown, and we'll just let it sit as an unknown right now. We don't necessarily have to embrace it, but sometimes the unknown can be pretty fun actually.
And what you think is known coming up isn't always guaranteed either. Like, you get it wrong,
Oh, many times.
I did not think at the beginning of 2022 that I'd be on here with you.
That's the fourth thing. We don't do predictions. Did I mention that? Yeah. That was it's the prediction ones, because we've been around long enough to know that oftentimes we're actually wrong. So I don't want to get caught with my foot in my mouth, especially doubting anybody. So even the video that I did of Jordan Poole was more like, he just has to step it up. It wasn't, losing faith in him or anything.
No.
So, yeah.
And he did. He really did.
That was great. So anyways.
We got 3 straight comments after this that are pretty interesting. So if you don't mind, Rich. Colin.
Yeah, we're going with Collins. Yeah.
Colin?
Definitely the next one to talk about.
This is very normal for a lot of basketball media to talk this way. Rich, I would bet, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I would bet Rich says, this is not important to me. I'm a real journalist. I believe in facts, not rankings and all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
But we're at the 233 mark, and Colin and Anthony are the only ones active in the comments. So I'm happy to go a little sideways. And actually, I didn't even think about that when Colin. I actually thought of my answer, but I do think it's because we're not in the heat of a basketball games going on, and I don't,
And we're not defending our players from unwarranted critique, too.
There you go.
Yeah. So, what's your answer?
Oh,
I know what your answer is, but go ahead.
Yeah, it had been all the way through. It had been Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Just because I got to see him as a kid and got to study him. We talked about how I modeled my jumper after his. And so, yeah, but then came this guy, Steph, and it's just that now that I'm getting into all this meditation stuff as well, I'm leaning even more on Steph because it's like he does it naturally. Him taking the joy of the game and as one of my colleagues used to say, weaponizing the joy, so to speak. Wow, it's like the guy doesn't even need to meditate this stuff because he is just born with this. Like he just does it naturally. The gratitude, having the joy of the game. He already has the gratitude every single day. Probably has it more than Dell. It's just, where did this come from? It's just like, wow. And yet he probably learned from Dell as well. So going back to that, just connecting those dots. Just recently, as I've been learning how to actually be more positive, man, this is amazing. Like Steph really has this down pat naturally, whereas Jordan was more like, Anakin Skywalker, although he won. He's like the alternate timeline where Darth Vader won. It's like Michael was so dominant in that, and you take every slight so personally and focus it in on destroying you. So it's different. And I actually used to embrace that. I wanted to follow that model. I was always the type that was like Draymond, like you say something to me, oh, good, I'm glad you put me down in your trash talk. I'm going to get you. That just gives me more energy to make this jump shot coming back at you. But that was technically negative energy, the dark side of the force, which probably works, 20 or 10% of the time. But I'm
well, it's good to release it into basketball, if nothing else, rather than. What's
that?
I'm just saying it's good to release it into basketball, if nothing else, rather than violence.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to your comments, Colin and Anthony, soon enough. So that's my answer. What about you?
My answer is that, God, he's such a great player, but Brian Scalabrine is just not on the list. The list. Okay.
Okay.
My list is the things that I value.
Okay.
It's where I would select someone all time. That is not objective. There are some things which are objective. Some players just are on it no matter what you feel. Some players aren't. I mean, I really value what Steph does overall. He was, I think, talking specifically about LeBron. Same number of rings. Obviously, Steph had KD, but no other major player that they teamed up with never left the Warriors or anything like that. And then, Steph's impact on his team, like without the basketball, is so amazing that I don't think it'll ever really be able to be captured by any numbers or any box plus minus or anything like that. Because just to get 4 players on him and he won't even have the basketball in his hands. I don't even know how another player could do that.
By the way, jumping in there, you guys go check out that Draymond video on our channel of the podcast that he just recently did. It's like 3rd or 4th on our channel. He talked about that. Draymond talked about Steph, without the basketball, the transition from Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. Yeah. So that was fun to hear. So you guys check that out. Glad you brought that up. Yeah. Continue though.
So look, LeBron's been to 4 more finals than both Steph and Jordan, and that just means something. 4 finals is a lot. Going to 8 in a row is crazy.
Yeah.
No,
3 more finals.
4. He's been to 10.
He's been to 10. My fault. I thought he'd been to 9. Wow, 10. That's right. Yeah, Forgot the championship 2020.
But the same number of championships and 4 less finals is also pretty great. I value Steph very highly.
Yeah.
There's
no wrong answer or whatever, and you don't even have to answer. So,
well, I guess the player that I always say is number 1 on my list is Bill Russell, because it's not just that he has 11 rings as if I'm blind. I don't have
number 6 being retired across the NBA. Number 6 being retired.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. Bill Russell.
And just the best leader you could possibly want. I mean, I've heard stories like he said, I purposely never critiqued in an attacking way a teammate. Right? Always.
I have in my early years.
We all have, but not Bill Russell, at least not on the Celtics. You know why?
Incredible.
Because he knew how to motivate people through success and not through fear. And that is something Steph does better than anybody in the NBA today, at least, and one of the best ever in the history of the NBA. Jordan, I think a lot of people misunderstand MJ. He, as far as I can remember, really never he's always getting into his teammates, but I don't remember hearing a lot of stories of this guy's not good enough, if they didn't work hard or whatever, fine. But I don't have enough talented scorers around me or anything like it. No, I want to win with these guys. Mm-hmm. And I think the best way you can understand it is he was a drill sergeant. Mm-hmm. You chose to be in the Marines. You're going to get drilled by a drill sergeant. It's not going to be nice. You know why? Because he's trying to get you to come back alive and not dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow,
that's just the way Jordan was, but you also can't find an easier player to coach than Michael Jordan. Jordan and his relationships with the coaches that he had in the NBA, again, as far as I know, was just JNL, RIP Mr. Russell. But all the and LeBron, incredible media scrutiny, not drafted into the best environment. And yet, what's the worst thing you can really say about him? He moved teams as a free agent? A little concerned about his legacy with the media?
When you mentioned not drafted into the best environment, I think a lot of people forget some of the amazing stuff he did in the first run with the Cavs in the playoffs. Yes. Yeah. I remember I was at a tournament with one of my guys, and we were trying to keep track of Cleveland against Orlando. Mm-hmm. And it was what? The Cavs came back. And then what? They won. And then we're LeBron. It was just
the game winner against Orlando. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some amazing things back then too.
Yeah.
So, and I did actually, I'll admit that I know, his antics and stuff. Yeah. That's what makes the NBA great, is that there's so many personalities.
Yeah.
And then you always need some bad guys to root against. So,
sure.
But yeah. LeBron,
and again, that's the difference between the list and your list.
Mm-hmm. And so LeBron, the last point I want to make was oh, what was it? I did, when he went to the Heat, man, I was all over that. I bought DirecTV NBA League Pass. I didn't miss a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had Heatomania, huh?
I'll freely admit that. But I'll also admit that on the back cover of this, which if you're fortunate enough like Amy to get, Amy, you email me your address, please. But apparently on May 14th, 2013, Steph had a bad game. It must have been against
Spurs.
San Antonio. Yeah. I hope Ryan's out there. Ryan, you watching? If you go look up my tweet was, and I quote, bad game and all, Steph Curry is a consummate professional. So I must have been. We could look it up. Maybe it was an away game, but if it was a home game, then I saw it myself in Oracle. But if it wasn't, then I saw it on TV. And I said, I'll say it, long term, I'd rather have him than LeBron or Durant.
Even 2013?
I said that in 2013.
Wow.
It is written. It's on Twitter. You can go search it. And I got the most heat from that. People were making fun of me left and right. People were saying it. I won't say who, but somebody influential as far as Warriors Twitter said that it was the worst tweet ever. As a younger than I am now, those things hurt me. But it's funny. It took me until now to kind of get to the point where, it is what it is. Like, it doesn't really bother me. But I'm glad I said it, and it's written.
Absolutely.
And I hope to get credit for that someday. So, but it's on here.
So can I ask, Rich?
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't have to be in order, but if you were to pick 10 players,
oh boy,
who would you pick?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, and also rest in peace, Kobe too. Thank you, JNL.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, ma'am. Yes, you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna pass on that one because I just don't go into that. Like, it's like I got to work my brain so hard to come up with 10 guys. I mean, what for? Like, it doesn't really float my boat. It doesn't, like, I don't get really excited about talking about who's your top 10 and all of that. So
I get that. It's just, I do like to see what someone values, and also just the range of how far back they go into or how modern they are in the players that they look at.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna just go back no further than, say, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird era, just because I probably can't even process, like Bill Russell. I can't even really process that because I never watched the game, not even one game. But I do, from what I hear, respect Wilt.
Yeah.
I respect that. I've seen some highlights and stuff, and that's like, wow. So, and then you have recency bias.
Yeah.
And I'd love to put Tim Hardaway on there somehow, but I probably can't squeeze.
Hey, go for it, man.
But right? Because you see the UTEP two-step and you go, man, there's only one UTEP two-step ever.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I'd have him in my top 10. And, I love Klay.
Yeah.
Draymond, I've said, is we've been contentious on this. Contentious is a strong word, but we've debated, we've dialogued about this. I think Draymond's the best defender ever. So I'll say that. I can do the best whatever ever. But I can't really collect 10 names at once. That's a lot for me. Or even 5. I don't even want to do 5 because then I'll leave someone off.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like compassionate enough. Like, I don't want to leave that guy off.
Yeah.
But I feel like Draymond can close out on a guy so well, like best ever. And that part where he can close out like that and also recover and guard Jaylen Brown, man, nobody else can do that. Like, I know Bill Russell was great and everything, but can he do that? I don't know.
Russell.
Can Rodman do that?
Rodman cannot do that. Oh. I mean, look.
How do you know Bill Russell can do that, though?
There is some tape of him playing. And there's also anecdotes about how fast he was, how fluid he was. He was Kevin Durant with Michael Jordan's athleticism.
Huh.
The dude was unbelievable. Like, no one one can really match that. I mean, even Wilt was fast, but Russell just I'll say this about Draymond. You want to defend, and be able to close out, but you also want to be able to get the rebound so that you get the possession after the defense is over. You don't give up an offensive rebound and get destroyed, because give up offensive rebounds, those are like the best shots you can get, right? Lots of times. So you want someone who can rebound too. What's even more dangerous is having someone who can defend, get the board, and then direct the offense immediately from that. And again, Russell could do that. He could actually run the ball up the court and make a nice pass and everything. But it's almost like putting Rodman and Magic together. Not Magic's level of even playmaking, obviously, because like he's the best passer ever. He's like Steph for passing.
Man, how do you do that?
The dude just, you want to talk about feel for the game.
Yeah.
I think he really could have gotten 5 assists each game blindfolded, honestly. Just like I can hear their footsteps. See, look, on the money.
Wow. I love that.
But Draymond's not. Again, if not at that quantity, he's close to that quality of a playmaker. Really, in a lot of ways, he's just got a knack for moving the ball. So being able to defend, rebound, and then dribble and pass the way Draymond does, it's just such a dangerous, like, there's no one that you can put on me that I'm really going to struggle with. A super quick guard, super strong center, a little bit, but I can still handle him. Then, though, that the rebound, like, I'm going to grab that and I can immediately direct the other 4 more perimeter style players that we have on the team and orchestrate this fast break perfectly, or go into the half court and be the point guard, like the point forward or whatever, but the dude who's dribbling the ball and setting everybody up. I really don't know a lot of other players that have that skill set, except Bill Russell. So it's Russell, Rodman, and Draymond. Those guys just, I think they can defend anybody, anywhere, in any era at the highest level. And they're all great rebounders. So got to finish those defensive possessions and not give up the ball.
All right.
He's got the basketball blues. Oh, no. Well, don't worry. You won't be cold turkey for too much longer.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, we shall see, my man.
Well, that's the thing. That's why you go back to the comparisons thing. It's just so hard. We'll never know. You can't ever put Bill Russell and Draymond on the floor at the same time. But
2K50, you ought to be able to play as them, and actually experience the air flowing past your face and everything. So, yeah.
All right. One last thing I wanted to do here is go back to my window here. You guys see that? So I'm going to switch this to camera. There you go. You guys can see that Venom shoes are going out. So these are some prizes I'm mailing out tomorrow. Andre Iguodala, there, Draymond, bobbleheads, and a couple T-shirts. So if you ask for a T-shirt, it was tough for me to dig through the T-shirt box and find the right one. And if Simon is still on, I got your email, so we've connected there. He says whatever prize is good. So yeah, I don't know. Mark Jackson bobblehead. I don't know. You sure? I don't know. I'll just go back on email and debate with him to pick something.
You got a Mark Jackson bobblehead?
I do.
Crazy, man.
Oh, he wants the 2016-17 media guide. Wow. Okay. All right.
Nice.
Wow. I'm going to have to throw in a T-shirt there because not many people like the media guides anyways, and I've got to dig it up. But, you taking a media guide, that helps out everybody else because nobody else can pick a media guide. So
I like it. You can
good
say,
on
hey,
you.
you know, I was here, sort of, spiritually. That's great.
Cool. All right. Anything else in the chat? Speaking of Mark Jackson.
So it looks like, I don't know if you saw this, Rich. I was just kind of grazing through it, but
Yeah.
Bob Myers said the team wants to keep Poole, Wiggins, and Draymond for as long as they can.
Mm-hmm.
At least the public
You kind of have to say
acknowledgement that it could happen,
right.
which I hadn't heard since the end of the playoffs, really, from the team themselves.
Yeah.
I'd say there are financial commitments to worry about, of course, but
yeah,
there's also, hey, we might want to keep all of them. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Unless I'm misreading it and they're letting it subtly something else.
He has to say that. Yeah, he should say that.
But he doesn't have to say we want to keep all of them. He could have done the GM tiptoe, say nothing, whatever type stuff.
That's what makes Bob Myers Bob Myers. Yeah. He's just good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea why Mark Jackson didn't land on another team? I think it's just that, he's very pick and roll heavy. He did teach the Warriors how to be tougher on defense. Draymond, in fact, go look at our channel, talks about it a lot.
Yeah.
Third or fourth video on our channel recently, the Draymond podcast with Big U. So, yeah, I think it might be that, and just you got to find the right team that needs to be tougher, that will benefit from the value that Mark Jackson brings. And then finally, I think just the era of the three-point shot. I think most people will think of Mark Jackson and go, nah, he doesn't get it, or he can't devise an offense other than pick and roll. So there's probably some knee-jerk judgments on Mark. I mean, maybe he can. I don't know, but that's probably why he hasn't landed anywhere.
It could also be his expectations of what he wants too. Mm-hmm. Money, certain level of freedom in picking staff or being involved in players, certain cities that he doesn't feel like it's worth him leaving his well-established announcer job. It's really difficult to say. What it is behind that. I would be interested to see how he coaches in 2023 or 4 or whatever, though. I mean, last time we saw him coach was 14, right? He didn't do anything after that at all, coaching-wise, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to see him coach. I think we ought to get Amy on one of these streams if she wants to.
Yeah, Amy, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I made this booklet of all these 400 comments.
And you're on every page, you said.
And you're literally every couple pages. Let me just blindly pick one. Boom. Amy.
Yep. Always.
Reading comments is exciting as watching the game plus Rich's voice. Wow. Thank you. That's right there. Dean Chambers on the other one. Oh, we did that one. Why did I turn to that again? Let's see. This blind one. Oh, Vitor. Hey, bro. Love the work you do for Dub Nation, getting the information and videos for us. Appreciate that very much. All love here from Brazil. Roland. I'll throw a shout out for your channel to my sister season tick rep. So, Amy, here, that is why you need to email me. Email me your address. You got to admit, Amy, this would be the best gift ever for you, right? So, yeah, I made a few of these, and I'm hoping to get some of these out to people so that they know what we're doing. And Dean, thank you for making this better. And it's great.
Thank you for just having me on, man.
I want to, for example, get one of these to Festus Ezeli, who I talk to sometimes, and it's like, man, does he even know the type of comments that we get here? So 400 comments on here that I put together. Man, that was a fun project to do. And shout out to Andre Liu, my old buddy. Shout out to Andre Liu of Pequod Communications for the booklets. Superb job. Pequod Communications. Man, they do such a great job. So, and then there's another one up. Oh, I got to rip these up. Now, Amy. I got to include my ears are clapping right now. Never mind.
She already made your book out of date. Unbelievable.
There you go.
Ears are clapping.
So it's awesome. Let's pick one more before we leave. Mo 14. By the way, Rich, I'm sorry if I come off as negative at all. Not my intention at all. Love what you're doing here, spreading positivity through all the haters. That must have been after a loss. Within that 1 hour that Vitor made famous, or whoever it was. R. Torres. And there's no dates on these, but these are from January to...
Is it chronological, though?
End of May, I think, but you wouldn't be able to tell because
right.
It was hard enough just to
Sure,
copy and paste all these. And I had to do them twice because Andre at Pequod was like, oh, can you make them all on the same page? I'm like, oh, my gosh, because I did it so that I could print them out on my own computer, on my own printer to make a prototype. So to do the prototype, I had to put 2 of them on one. But anyway, still a Warriors fan, win or lose. This has been the most fun we've had in quite a while. Shame on those bashers every time Warriors lose a game. So there you go. Any page.
They're going to be coming for us this year, man.
Yeah. All right. So, Amy, you better email me. But anyways, thank you, Dean. Thank you, Coach Nick.
3 hours.
3 hours ago, Coach Nick was on here. And next live, we will try and reconvene here probably midday or so on Media Day, next Friday, 9/24. 9/24. Love to leave it on this note. Thank you. Once again, Amy.
She's our closer.
Yes, she is. And so thank you all for joining us. And
absolutely.
We'll see you in a week. Maybe Andre will make his decision by then.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I hope he's back. I do. I think that'd be fun. One more run.
All right. So we got to do our just us 1, 2, 3.
Just us.
All right. Take care, everybody. Gonna end broadcast now. See you on Friday.